What's up to everybody in the chat? Sorry we're 2 minutes late. You know, it's OG boxing talk, which means, you know, every once in a while you act old and run late. And that's my bad. Saint Cruising in the building. What's going on, man? Burt from Artican, my man. Oh, salute OGs. Drew, KQKC, Curtis Anderson, Blood, Cali. Yeah, you know, they'll slowly get up in here, man. What's going on, Crush the Legend? Mass Arms in the building. What's going on, man? Salute to you as well, Phil J 508, Chi Town's finest. Blessings to you. Eugene Williams was good. Thrill Hill. Junior the Truth was good, man. I was hoping you'd be able to get on, man. By the way, Junior the Truth, check the text, check the text group. I sent you a link and asked if I could get somebody's opinion. And all you Negroes did me wrong. Nobody looked at it. Nobody gave me their opinion. So now I gotta shame you out in public. Okay, check it out, man. Check out what I sent you guys, and again, give me your feedback on it. Because then I want to, if you like it, that style of thing, that's something I'm going to try to move forward. What's going on, Weedy Guitar Studio in the building? What's good, man? Outlaw Junior, TZ Franks, Mr. J Dub Texas, and everybody on. Yeah, everybody, you know. Somebody said, my birth from Marcus said, Junior, jump on. Now, Junior has not reached the age of maturity yet where he can show up consistently and on time. You know, CP type Negroes, you know what I mean. What's going on, Big Dog Willie? He says, salute to the OGs. Fuck Dillian White all day, every day, man. So let's kick it off, man. Drew, what's good with you, man?
You know.
Tell them about your channel. Tell them how to get in contact with you first.
I am Drew Titan Bronx on deck. You could find me right here on OG Boxing Talk. You can also find me on LDBC Strong, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sundays. You can also find me on Instagram under the same name. I discuss health and wellness and a whole lot of boxing, especially when I get pissed off like I did yesterday. I have a pop-up stream every now and again. Just look out for it. Everyone go sub.
Why? Why did you get hot yesterday?
You know, in lieu of the current events that, you know, we're going through in the world, you know, we basically in boxing, as far as racism is concerned, we're just saying I told you so.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Fucking right. What's going on, D-Style Boxing? Go ahead, man.
Yeah, you know, we're just saying, yo, we told you so. Everything that's happening now, we're saying we told you so. And this thing with AJ getting attacked,
you know, attacked? Not physically attacked.
Not physically. But when he got attacked, you know, years ago when he started talking funny and using phrases like "we'll freeze him out," and you know, we told people those are racially driven comments. It's basically like the word nigger.
Oh, very much a very loaded, very loaded.
Yeah. So when he first told Deontay Wilder we'll freeze him out, that was the day I officially said, you know, I'm not fucking with AJ no more. He should know better as a fighter. I know he's a young man, but as a fighter, he should know that there's certain things you don't say. It's like you won't find no white rap. You never heard Eminem use the term nigger. Never. He knows better. I don't care how immersed into the culture he is and how good he is as an MC and he plays with words. You never heard him say, even if he's referring to people on the track, he never said my nigga. He knows better than to cross that line. All right, that's a term a black fighter should know never to use, especially when he's referring to another black fighter. Like just like Devin Haney allegedly shouldn't have said, "I'll never let a white boy beat me." He shouldn't have said that. Okay, when AJ stood in that ring and told Wilder we'll freeze him out, I said I can't fuck with this kid. I'm never fucking with this kid. But then when they started fucking with him, my blackness felt bad for him because I believe his intentions to the town that he's from and everything that he said was pure. And I said, you know what? God damn it. I can't ignore him. I got to applaud this kid for what he's doing. And no sooner than he did that, he fell under attack. Bad racist attack. And I had to defend the brother. No sooner than I defend the brother and I'm calling people out for who they are. And I put a video out questioning, you know, where's Eddie Hearn? I think like 48 to 72 hours came about. And I'm like, where's Eddie Hearn? You know, some clowns on the page, you know, they show up and they say, well, Eddie Hearn responded, and you know, I bet you LDVC dudes won't acknowledge his response. And I said, okay, well, you know, let me go read what he wrote, because I asked these people, I said, you know, look, if he's responded in support of AJ, send the link and I'll read it and I'll respond. Well, they didn't send the link. I had to go find it. Number one, these people are so quick to say, oh, he responded, he supported AJ. Ah, LDBC is wrong. So I went and I read what he said word for word. You dumbasses, that was not support of AJ. He just acknowledged what AJ said, and he said he pretty much acknowledges the fact that he's standing up as people. He never once said that he totally agreed with it. It was clever. It was you have to go read it word for word. It was very clever how he did it. That's like saying, hey man, you know, look, Paulie Malignaggi's supposed to stand up for Italian people. I'm glad he did that. That's what he believes. Everything was, he said this, he said that. And we should talk about racial injustice. And I know how it affects him. Everything was him, and his feelings and what he feels, him. Not once did Eddie say, I agree with him. He says, I agree we should be talking about a racial injustice, but he never said specifically, I agree with AJ. It's like the gay and lesbian community. Yeah, you know, if you feel you're being done dirty, yeah, I agree. Speak up on your injustice. But do I agree with your lifestyle? No. I'm just saying that as an example. You could agree with someone fighting for their rights, but agreeing with their cause is something totally different. You gotta read. This guy, Eddie Hearn, is very clever. He played with the words. And again, I always say this. How can I believe what you say when I see what you do? How the fuck do you agree totally with what AJ said and what he's done, what he's doing, when you played off the racism? You think we forgot that you said some guy from Alabama can't have $50 million? All right, well, some guy from Alabama can't have it. He works closely with Shelley Finkel and Al Heyman. He can't get $50 million somewhere from between those two guys? He ain't got it? Then you lie and say, oh, well, he ain't got $50 million. He told Blue, some guy from Alabama ain't got $50 million. 10 days later, he throws a mic in his face and says, well, can you clarify that? And then he says, I never asked to see $50 million. I never asked to see proof of funds. It's all on video, man. It's all on video. So you're a liar, and I'm supposed to believe what you say now? The day that they came for AJ's head, matter of fact, I'll do you one better than that. The day that AJ put that out, on top of that, he should have said, good, AJ, right on, AJ. I support you, AJ. I believe in everything you're saying, AJ. I support you, AJ. It took the motherfucker 2 to 3 days to say something, right? He didn't even get on Twitter. He gets on Twitter about everything else. He didn't say a word. And then when he does say something, you got to read what he says. Everything was cleverly written. He's not supporting AJ. He's supporting his movements. You know what I'm saying? Like, we support Deontay Wilder. But can he sharpen up his skill set in the ring? We've been saying that. Yeah. But is he getting the job done? Yes. We could support Deontay. It's like any fighter. Like, we could critique them. Yeah, I love what he's doing. But I don't like how fights going backwards, or I don't like how you move back in a straight line. He's gonna get caught. Like we do it with Errol Spence. You know, we love what he's doing, but we don't like how he goes back in a straight line. He's gonna get caught. We see the mistakes. You understand what I'm saying? What Eddie Hearn did with AJ was he agreed with how AJ is moving, but he never once said, I agree with the cause, with his cause.
So let me ask you. So you're saying the people are trying to say that Eddie Hearn agreed with what Anthony Joshua was Black Lives Matter protest?
Oh yeah, they jumped they jumped on me.
Oh yeah, shut the fuck up. Oh, and he not only did he not apologize for it, he said that AJ really didn't mean what he said.
That's what I pointed out. It's word for word. I read the article where they quoted him word for word. He put special emphasis on the first thing he said was he was reading a speech that he did not write. It wasn't his. And my thing is, that's not
Yeah.
the fucking point. Because he read it because it was somebody else's, but if he didn't believe it, he wouldn't have read it. I will not go anywhere and someone will just hand me a piece of paper and say, yo, read this. I'm like, what am I reading? What am I about to read out loud? Because at the end of the goddamn paragraph, you could say something that's not really you. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Yo, read this speech. And then at the end of the speech, you could say, well, you know, I'm a fucking gay ass. What? That's not what it is. What are you talking about? So he read it because he stood on it. Eddie spent more time.
Afterwards, I said what I said. Fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, man. You know,
I said what I said. Fuck you.
Eddie was more or less patting him on his head, saying, "Yeah, good boy. Yeah, that's what you believe. Yeah, good boy, good boy, good boy." So for all you fucking trolls out there, no, you guys fell for the fucking okie doke, the banana in the tailpipe. Y'all good for that. Y'all good for that, man. This guy Eddie Hearn is full of shit. Some guy, I did not forget, some guy from Alabama. And all you motherfucking trolls that never been to this country, there's a reason why Eddie said some guy from Alabama. It'd have been different if he had said, I'm supposed to believe Deontay Wilder has $50 million. That's just a blank statement because everyone was talking about his lack of funds, his lack of personal funds. Okay, he didn't say that. What he said was, I'm supposed to believe some guy from Alabama.
Yeah,
that was special emphasis.
He like, that nigga ain't got no money.
Yeah, thank you. That nigga ain't got no money.
From?
That southern nigga that dumb. Remember, you think we forgot? Oh, look at how Deontay Wilder talks. He's from the South, man. That's how the brothers talk down there. And surprise, surprise, broke white motherfuckers have the same dialect down there. Difference is color.
Well, pause. First of all, man, let me pause that for a second, man. Say what's up to a couple more people that flew in and they came in. Main event Mark in the building. What's going on, man? I'm not sure if I was able to say what's up to St. Cruising and all your son, Afari, JC, GG. What's going up, Angie Wise? Everybody coming in. Look, man, fuck them because that's just some nonsense. Did you hear though about Tyson Fury? Where Tyson Fury told Boris, the president, or whatever, what is the prime minister? I think it's the prime minister. That the prime minister of Great Britain, Boris Johnson, told him to grow a pair of nuts and do something about these people that are topping these monuments because they had a statue of Winston Churchill. And I guess either something happened to it or they were trying to pull that bitch down, and they weren't able to pull. I don't know if they pulled it down or not, but he said, "Hey, you got to do something about this." So I just read this morning that then in the UK, that there's been police and right wing anti-Black Lives Matter protesters in the UK. So on one side, that's the hold up. At least from the outside looking in, obviously, this is what I'm reading. This is what I'm reading in the newspapers and things. But to me, that seems to be the thing with AJ and Anthony Joshua about right now. Because I was on his ass. AJ, come on, man. I was like, nah, you full of shit around these parts. But hey, man, when you did that, that's because he didn't have to. He knows that shit was going to happen, and he didn't want to. I mean, it's like if he wanted to, he could have avoided the whole thing, right? Like kind of like Tiger Woods. That's why Tiger Woods don't say shit because of the shit that happened to AJ. I think people think that he's just like a straight Tom and he gives these bullshit answers. He just want the smoke more than likely. Because not everybody's going to be a Colin Kaepernick now. See, this is going to sound crazy saying this, but this is the truth. Not everybody's a Muhammad Ali, a Colin Kaepernick, an Anthony Joshua. That's going to in the middle of some shit like that with all that money riding, knowing all them white boys are the ones that pay his salary. For him to say that in the middle of that, for people in his own neighborhood, because I understanding is that's Watford. That's where he's from. So that's not just some old shit where he's just out somewhere. You know what I mean? He's talking to people that he grew up with. He's probably got cousins, family members, friends of his mother and father. That's like literally where he's from. So he's like, fuck it, I'm out here with people. That's why the idea of him not meaning it is so hard for me to get. Because if he didn't mean it, he could have went somewhere else. You know what I mean? To do that
Right.
shit. You know, he did that shit right where he's from. So now I think it's real. And then Tyson Fury, you know, that's an interesting ass character because you know now with those fights getting breaking out over there, you just see they were always talking about that shit don't exist over there. I'm like, how the fuck does it not exist over there when you motherfuckers designed it over here? You know what I mean? Yeah, we're the product of a British design. How does it not exist over there? That just logically, it just never made that. Just it seems ridiculous to me. You know what I mean? All the problems they have in India, and just like come on, man. They've killed many a Native American around these parts.
Well, this is what I say back that the devil is a liar, and I'm not calling all white people devils, but I'm saying, well, that's their lineage. Let's take a step back to Tyson Fury. He wants Boris to grow a pair of nuts and stop Black Lives Matter from toppling these statues such as Winston Churchill. You dumb fucking gypsy. Do you know who Winston Churchill is and what he really has done? Grow a pair of nuts? Now, he'll say, oh, well, I'm telling you to stop the vandalism. No. Why is there vandalism? People are tired of looking at Winston Churchill. I'd get mad if I had to walk past a Christopher Columbus statue all day. Matter of fact, in Manhattan, there's a spot called Columbus Circle. There's a street called Columbus Avenue. They need to change that fucking street. They need to change Columbus Circle. Get the fuck out of here. And didn't Tyson Fury say he left from fighting in the UK because he wasn't treated well? Meaning that gypsies were discriminated against and it was racism? Didn't he say that? That's why he's not fighting in the UK anymore? But he wants
that's why he's not fighting in the UK anymore.
That's what he said. He said he wasn't treated well in the UK. No, motherfucker. See, this is another lie. You're not fighting in the UK anymore because you can't. Because you can't. If you was an honest man and you really wasn't on drugs, what you would have done is fought those allegations and proved your innocence. Instead, you said, fuck y'all not treating me well. I'm going to fight somewhere else. That's what you did. You're a fucking liar. Another liar. Okay? You wasn't treated well in the UK, but you want motherfuckers to stop toppling statues. You want Boris to grow a pair of nuts. Boris should say, Tyson, won't you stop eating boar nuts? I'll grow some nuts when you stop eating them. You know what I'm saying? Get the fuck out of here, man.
Did he actually eat the boar nuts?
Look, he's talking about
Is that what he's saying? Did he
masturbates
the meat? I didn't think he ate the nuts.
Man, please, he masturbates to naked black men. As far as I'm concerned, he ate the pig dick. All right, he's a weirdo. He's a weirdo. So he wants Boris.
That was kind of harsh.
Yeah, F him. F him with a lit flare.
It's a little harsh, man. Can hit the little harsh button on that.
F him in the poop chute with a lit flare. I don't care about nothing over there. I don't care about nothing over there. Like he said, he don't care about nothing over there. He said the UK didn't treat me well. That's what he said. But now you care about them toppling statues. He just told you who he was. There it is right there. There it is right there. But then when I say there's a racial element behind this entire thing, like we've been saying, oh, now you motherfuckers want to react? Now you motherfuckers want to react? Get the fuck out of here, man. We told you so. We told you so. We at the LDBC told you so. Assholes.
We did tell you so. You know what? Yeah, man. I was wondering when all that shit was gonna go back on their bitch asses. I gotta so I refer to you as bitch asses, but damn, sometimes I mean, god dog, y'all just act like some bitch asses. But yeah, man, I was thinking, you know, they were riding on a high when Deontay Wilder lost and talking about helmets, that shit he never said about no fucking helmet, but making the shit up and rolling. And now, did you Steve Kim on Twitter today, man? Steve fucking Kim, of all fucking people. This is out of touch this motherfucker is. He said he was watching, obviously he was watching Boys in the Hood this weekend. You remember Boys in the Hood, Drew?
Yeah, I saw it like 5 times.
Yeah. Back early, what was that? Late 80s, early 90s,
Like
early
I said,
90s,
midnight, early 90s. That was like
early
90,
90s. Yeah,
93, 94.
yeah. Movie about uh, a group of young men that grew up in Compton.
Mhm.
One was raised by a single father. You know that Ice Cube, directed by John Singleton, and obviously Steve Kim. Since all this racist shit's going on in the world, and the pressure's on the people that say shit and act like he does. At least my opinion of him. He is going to obviously was longing to go watch a movie where he gets to see a nigga get killed, and he and he noticed something. They were talking about gentrification way back then. Like,
Yep.
what the fuck did you just say, dude? Are you serious? Are you serious?
What did he say exactly?
He was just this. It's just the idea that he was just now reminded that people have been talking about gentrification of black neighborhoods since the early '90s. He
Oh,
acted like it was fucking prophetic or something. Like,
so
oh,
he
you don't have no association with black folk, obviously. So that's what I got out of it. For you to be surprised about that means you will have no concept of black people and what's going on with black people and the shit that happens. Are you fucking kidding me? The cities have been hollowing out. Black neighbors have been getting hollowed out since shit the 80s.
I
Before
know.
the first stage of it was to decrease the property value to begin with, tear shit up. But come on, man. South
He had
Central LA, thank you, Ron White. I'm sorry, I'm not verboten. I'm not all the way together on my LA areas. Although
so Steve thought the conversation about gentrification was brand new. I could tell you firsthand they were gentrifying Harlem since like 1987. And I saw it in its early stages. And in the 90s, I remember driving down 125th Street, and I just started, when the sun was up, I started seeing more white people going down these blocks, with these burnt out brownstones. And they were just looking around. I'm like, what the fuck's going on down here? Then in like around 1990, I want to say 98, 99, I remember the first time I drove down 125th Street, Lenox Avenue, there was a white boy like in the middle of the street, and he was on like one of those early smart devices. And I'm at the light looking at him like, does he not know where he's a little too far uptown, man? Does he not know where he's at? Because I'm looking at him like, yo, something really can happen to him out here. What the fuck? Is he okay? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, man, niggas out here starving. Their ribs is touching out here, man. And then slowly but surely, those blocks, 113th Street, 117th Street, 116th Street, they started building back up those brownstones. And you go down those same blocks now, the whole area is different. The stores changed somewhat. Those brownstones got shiny copper rails on them now. It's a lot of white people in Harlem now, and it's going to the South Bronx. There's a little area in the South Bronx right by the 3rd Avenue Bridge, right by the Willis Avenue Bridge. They're calling it Sobro now, like Soho in Manhattan, like the Village. They're calling it Sobro now. All these artsy white people got these loft apartments over there. They got cafes there. My friend owns a bistro over there. When he said he was opening it, I was like, "You open it over there?" And then I drove over there. I said, "Oh shit, this neighborhood changed." I didn't even know that. Right under my nose, I didn't even know that. It's in the South Bronx. So gentrification, we've been talking about that for over 25 years, man. Steve Kim, this is how out of touch he is with us. He has a preconceived notion. And you see, he has a preconceived notion about who we are. All right, which tells you that prior to him watching Boys in the Hood, he thought we were just complaining for no reason. And that's my problem with all these other ethnicities that try and say that all of our gripes, we're just blowing smoke. You're not us. You're not immersed into our culture. You don't know what we're talking about. And guess what? You don't care. And I bet you Steve Kim can tell you everything about what the fuck is he, Korean? He could tell you everything about Korea and shit we don't even know. Why? Honestly, I don't give a fuck about what's going on with Korea or Koreans because it don't apply to me. The only thing that applies to me with Korea is that short, fat, crazy nigga gonna drop a bomb on our heads. That's all I care about. I don't care about your culture. And I'm not being disrespectful. I'm just being honest. I don't care about your culture. All right? I don't care. I never cared. I never cared. But see, the difference is I'm not over there. See, if I'm over there trying to make a living and trying to raise a family, then I might want to immerse myself into the culture so I can learn about it. And the main thing when you immerse yourself into someone's culture, the main thing you want to do is learn how not to disrespect them, because what you might think is normal might be disrespectful to them. Give you an example of that. In Pennsylvania, they got an Amish community. And when we went over there, one of the, not a tour guide, but one of the guys that worked at like some sort of welcoming booth, he said one of the major things you don't do, because kids, kids make faces at each other or whatever, and he says make sure you don't cross your eyes when you look at them as an adult. And we're like, cross your eyes? You like look at someone cockeyed on purpose? You might be doing it playfully or whatever, but don't do that. It was like, okay, well, we're grown, we don't do that. But incidentally, why? He says it's just like flipping them the bird. They will stop their horse and buggy and jump off of that horse and buggy and want to fight you. It's basically like telling them to suck your dick. You're looking for a fight if you do that. Now, I don't know what the history behind that shit is. I didn't care. I was just passing through. But I told the guy, thank you for telling me that. You know what I'm saying? It'd be my luck some stupid shit like that happens. Oh, I thought the black man looked at me cross-eyed. So I grabbed my musket and I shot him. But thank you for telling me that. Steve Kim, if you spoke to Steve Kim over the phone, he has no accent. You would think you're talking to a white guy. And then you meet him.
From the United States.
Yeah, but I bet you he could tell you everything about his heritage. Okay, we're black, but we're so diluted. We don't have strong black African features, but we're black. We have to search and scrounge and find out where we're from. And not every black person in the United States knows exactly what part of Africa we're from. We're so mixed up. But one thing we do know is that we're put in a class that we're black. And that's all of us, even the Spanish-speaking Negroes. Sorry to inform you. We're all black. All right? That's what we are. So for this motherfucker, Steve Kim, not to even take the time and understand what we're talking about. And see, there's too much, and we're in the age of technology. There's too much information at your fingertips not to be educated. To be uneducated about what we're talking about is to be ignorant. And Steve Kim is ignorant. Or whenever we're marching in the street or beefing about something, all he's saying is, oh, here they go again. Here they go again. Steve Kim, you think I didn't catch that when you he was making reference to Clarissa Shields? Didn't he call he used the term woke in one of the statements.
There's all that dog whistle shit.
Yeah, right. So how does he know to use a slang word that we've adapted? How do you know to use that? Right? How do you know to use that? He was using it as a racial shot. You're not that clever. You're not clever. I caught you, gook, zipper-eyed gook. I caught you.
Don't do it.
No, I caught you, you motherfucker. I caught you. You're caught. You were caught. Red-handed, yellow-handed, rather. So if I walk up to you and I just start talking about Bruce Lee and Kung Fu movies, I didn't call you out your name. And every time I saw Steve Kim, I saw talking about Kung Fu movies. Don't you think he's going to say, well, hey, man, why every time you talk to me, it's only you talk to him about current events, you talk to Dan Raphael about food, and every time you talk to me, you talk about some fucking Bruce Lee or Kung Fu movie. Well, Kim, I'm not racist. Well, I'm not Chinese, motherfucker. Well, I know you're not Chinese, but Asians, Kung Fu, it's the same shit, right? You understand what I'm saying? Like, when I was in the police academy, there was this one white guy that tried so hard to prove that he was, dare I say, down. every time we had some downtime, which was rare, he sat with us, the blacks and the Hispanics, and he wanted to talk about, guess what? Rap music. And the first few times, you know, he would change the topic. He'd come up, we talking about something totally different. He'd come up and he's like, yeah, yo, you heard the new Nas album? And then we start talking about rap music. And we're like, yo, how the fuck did we get here? Talking about rap music. And we're like, why every time Frank come over here, first of all, we would see Frank coming across the goddamn cafeteria, and then his whole walk would change. He would start bopping like he hears music in his ears.
Who is this?
My boy Frank, he's a cop.
Oh, okay.
Man, and it got to the point where people started noticing that shit, and they were getting mad. Like, yo, I'm gonna fucking tell that motherfucker to stop. Why is he always he starts bopping when he walks over to us? He get this weird ass smile on his face, and Frank is Italian. And I said, look, you know, but I knew what he was doing. So every now and again after work, I drive him home, and I had to tell him politely. I said, yo, look, Frank, man, you ain't got to prove to us that you're not racist. You know that, right? You know, every time you come sit, I'm letting you know that the guys, they're feeling some kind of way. And when I explained it to him, he got it. And he acknowledged it. And he says, nah, well, I do like hip hop. That's why I talk about it. You know, I said, I understand that, but you know, you do know that you're on one side of the cafeteria talking to your white friends, right? And your Italian friends. For those that don't know, there's a difference between white and Italian. All right. And then when you get up from there, you look at us, you start walking over towards us. And then it's like you hear music in your ears and you start bopping a little different. Then you come sit with us. And then I hear your lingo change. Now, I know you're supposed to wear multiple hats. Like how I talk on OG Boxing Talk is not how I would talk to my boss at work. You understand what I'm saying? I can understand wearing multiple hats. But dude, the guys are getting offended because they see you do it. And we could be talking about something totally different. And then every time you sit down and talk with us, it has to be something that you feel we can only relate to. We can't relate to current events in your eyes. You can't relate to the law assignment that we got to take home. You always want to talk about fucking rap music. That's offensive, man. And then he thought about it and he said, shit, I didn't even realize I was doing that. I said, okay, well, I'm just letting you know. And after we had that conversation, things changed. Me and Frank are good friends till this day. You see what I'm saying? So sometimes you got to bring things to light. But Steve Kim, he's so busy when he's on defense 100% of the time. Instead of sitting down and acknowledging, maybe the black community has a point. Maybe I shouldn't say that shit about Clarissa Shields. Maybe we're smart enough to catch what you're saying, you stupid motherfucker. You understand? These guys are not smart. Well, they're not stupid.
Hey, Drew, hold on real quick, man.
Yeah.
I got to say what's up to Ali, man. He got like a $50, he dropped the $50. So I want to make sure I did not miss. I don't want to miss any of y'all super chats, but I ain't seen Ali Bosa. I ain't seen Ali Bosa in around a minute, man. What's good, man? I hope the music's going well. What's good with you, sir? I do need, if you got beats, I need ones that do not cost a lot of money, but are very good. You know what I mean? So, but so give me, man, email me, man. Let's holler, man. It's been a long time, man. Thank you so much for your support, man. And it's good to see you, man. Also, once again, man, I gotta say what's up to my man Toot Robinson. I haven't seen Toot Robinson in a minute. But he still stops by, man, still supports the channel. I just wake up in the middle of the night and cha-ching, like what the heck? Oh man, and then he'll, have watches it on archives and supports in the Cash App, man. So thank y'all, man, for doing that, and I appreciate y'all continually coming, man. Yeah, man. So let's move the conversation.
Wait, hold on, real quick. The brother Mansa Sheikh Zulu, he said it sounds like he was trying to relate to you. That don't make him racist. No. I'm not saying he was racist.
Hey, can I handle that one?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it does. Fucking doesn't. It just means that it's exactly what the fuck that means. But you just got to understand what racism is. If you understand what racism is, then you'll be like, yeah, I see that shit. What racism is, in part, two parts, is physical and the other is psychological. And the reason why we have issues in an interpersonal relationship and a lot of friction is because of the prejudgments that are made by prejudgments that are made between people that are categorized as white and people that are categorized as black. He right there, by relating to him in that manner, is exactly what Drew said. They are police officers. He completely changed the way he walked from when he talked, the way that he spoke, the things that he spoke about. That tells you, that's a reflection of what he thinks about the person that he's speaking to. Now, that's why you call it a microaggression. But it is. You are clearly telling the people by your action that this is what I think of you. This is what I think that your information is valuable about. Hip hop and basketball. See, there's 8 areas of human interaction, and many of them are very aggressive. But a couple of them, because we still communicate with one another and work with one another on a regular day, one area that it comes across in, where it bonds well to a certain extent, is entertainment. Because everybody likes to laugh, everybody likes to cry, everybody likes to see competition, right? And to see athletics. We all enjoy the same thing, which is called sport. So you see somebody trying to understand you in that area is far different than trying to understand you in the area of in politics or in your relationship or an interpersonal relationship in any of the other areas. So no, man, that's why you can see somebody that it seems like they're so cool when you talk about football, but then you find like Drew Brees, like, why would you be shocked? You like him for football. He gets well together with black people because it's entertaining, and he's entertaining you by scoring touchdowns. So you're entertained. That's no different than the way that somebody might look at Offset. Like, okay, yeah, that doesn't mean they like him, and that don't mean he likes them. That's relationship is entertainment. That's why it's such a big explosion that Colin Kaepernick took a knee, because they didn't want that shit in their sports. They just don't want that shit there. That's the one area where they don't have to have any guilt, because they feel like niggas is making a bunch of money. The fuck you got to complain about? We letting you have this shit. Shut the fuck up. So, nah, man, like, it's rooted in that shit, man. It's rooted in that. It's an extension of it. But you got to have your first thought before you have your second. It happens in small things before it happens, as much or more often than it will happen in big, because it really is the way, it's an objective reality for them. Ours is an objective reality, right? Or a subjective reality. Or for us, it's an objective reality. For them, it's our subjective reality. This is the truth for us. This is what we know. Right? That's what they know. And it demonstrates itself in situations like that. That's what the issue is, because because you really are prejudging me. So that's a psychological component to it. But then there's the physical, right? The physical is you own you constantly invading spots where people are, right? Starting fights with people. You always have to be in control and have to be dominant and have to be the one that's making the decision. And you see that in their behavior patterns constantly. Just the need to be the one that is in control. Even if they give you something, it's them giving it to you. Right? So, no, man, that's the physical component of it. So, but then sometimes you can tell people don't understand that, because they point to how much money LeBron James has, and forgets that LeBron James, if you don't know his name and he walks up on you, is a gigantic black man who can easily catch one if somebody didn't know him. You know what I mean? Like, they don't know how much money that big ass nigga got. Let him walk too thick. Aaron Gardner got you, big old dude got you. Man, please let him run up on somebody. Pop, pop, pop. Quick as they could. Because he's too fucking big and too big and too black. Too big and too black. And that's a physical problem. That's not a monetary problem. It's a physical, that's a psychological problem. You have to worry about what they think. A guy that does that shit is fucking dangerous. Because I'm not, but so like, yeah, man, that's my thing about it. Mansa Sheikh Zulu. It's you got to understand your mind, but I think it's as a safety mechanism, you got to understand theirs. And you got to understand the reason that they don't think anything's wrong with it is because that's their objective reality. You know, sometimes like with mental illness, people treat mental illness as if people are just purely having hallucinations and things. No, that's their objective reality. That's their reality. To them, it is real. So the situation with the racism, for them, it is real. I believe everything that they say that they believe about black people, but I understand that they believe it. That's the way that's why we always have to compensate by trying to change ourselves so much. Because of that. The fact that the fact that you think you have those, that's their objective reality. You are everything associated with the color of black. You are associated with the negativity. You are the criminal to them. You are in their hero's journey. You are their antagonist to their protagonist. See, look at the stories that are written in what the Western world, right? Like to Joseph Campbell, and he talks about the hero's journey. I'm sure people know about it. That's what they believe everybody's story is, that it is one of conflict, one of abandonment, followed by conflict, right? That's what it is. You're something that you need, and there's always some force trying to prevent you from getting it. Well, on a social level, that's what we're cast into. That for them, we are Darth Vader, and remember, they see us as Darth Vader. Doesn't matter if I'm really your father and I did the shit to save you, right? Isn't that what they did in Star Wars? Same exact scene. Psychologically, they love that shit. Luke, I am your father. What? But he's the bad guy. Yeah, exactly. The bad black man is your father. Exactly. So no color, and it's the truth. They are. We are. They are. That color is. You know, that is what created it. Everybody started like that. So yeah, so that's the whole thing with Dr. Francis Cress. Which why I sent you that file, Drew, that you didn't nobody looked at. But that's Dr. Francis Cress Wilson. Yeah, and that's like Frantz Fanon. They are the philosophers and the psychiatrists in the that I've listened to the much and that I really respect. And then in the black community have by far the most standing are those two in the fields of psychiatry and philosophy. It is Frantz Fanon in the 20th century, in the 20th and 21st century. It's Frantz Fanon. Then I think somebody that surpassed him, and that is Frances Cress Wilson from DC. She's everything that she said. Now she's the one talking about the motherfucking I told you so. All this shit she said back in 1989. Said it all. Talked about the gangs, the violence, the police, all of that. Just broke the shit down into a complete thing. But people focus on the game, you know, like the symbolism that she went through, because that's like the easiest thing to grasp, or the funnest thing to play with, rather. But yeah, man, it's Mansa Sheikh Zulu, and I gave you that extended explanation because I do respect your name, Mansa Sheikh Zulu. But yeah, man, we know the minds. You have to know the minds of white folk, you know, because that's how you protect yourself from getting shot.
Yeah, can I take it a step further?
Hey, hold on, let me finish up real quick. Yeah, man, you distract, man. What was I gonna say? Oh, anyway, so You have to know the mind of white people, and that's what we teach ourselves in order to try to compensate for the fact that we know that that there's real danger out there. And so that's what people are sick of doing. People are sick of like saying, hey, hold on, man, I know this mother might kill me. And I can't say nothing about it. I'm supposed to lay here and not do nothing. And I'm not supposed to say anything. I'm just supposed to be, that's his job and he's risking his life. So that's worth more than mine. But still, seriously, that explanation for police violence and fatal is the same thing as saying somebody's 3/5 of a man. Because you're telling that police officer that his life is more valuable than the others. And that's the same concept, but in a different form from the Senate, from the Congress when they were trying to vote. Because technically speaking, they didn't say, the Constitution does not say that a black is 1/5 or whatever it is of an individual. It's not what it says. What it says is that the states will be apportioned, right? Will be apportioned a certain amount of delegates or a certain amount of, a certain amount of representation based on their population. And since the South has so many slaves, they counted them as people. They counted them as people. 3/5. That was the value they gave them. But the value is not the substance. They did not consider them people at all. They considered them chattel. That's what they considered them. So for my reading of the Constitution, it's not you weren't worth shit. They were just going to give somebody a credit for having you. That's it. It was like a tax deduction for owning slaves, but in the sense that it applied to the distribution of Senate seats and congressional seats in the federal government, the representation of the state in the federal government. And that was a reflection of what they considered to be the value of slavery, not to the economic power of the United States, not of the humanity of the slave. The humanity, so it was not 3/5 of a human being. It was jack shit. You're not a human being. Go ahead, Drew.
Yeah, I just want to add to that. Actually, with my former coworker, we still speak daily, pretty much daily. I never said he was a bad guy. I just said he had he misinterpreted us, and he was doing what we call, like how we say, you're doing too much. And actually, that what I consider small incident potential incident, because it was going to escalate, but I stopped it. That actually he took that lesson and it's helped him in his career a great deal. And we talk all the time. And there was little things that he's went through in the field where that small incident in the academy, he applied that in the street and it actually helped him. He learned a lot in one car ride. When I explained certain things to him, he applied those lessons in his career and it's helped him a great deal, to the point where you do have anger and outrage. Because we've had several incidences since 1999 all the way up till now. And one of the biggest things that happened was the Diallo shooting. That happened when I was on the job. And it was hard, man. And it happened in our borough. That was hard. But when that happened, me and Frank been in the field like 2-3 years by then. And he actually, on his post, that white cop felt safe. You know why? He developed such a good rapport with the community that, people were actually coming up to him saying, yeah, man, yeah, Officer B, what your coworkers did was wrong, but I know that you're not like that. You understand? And he set that tone. He set that tone because the moment he got into the field, he conducted himself in a certain way. He got to know the neighborhood. And one of the things I told him to do, I said, Frank, when I came up, We knew the police officers' first names. And we actually wasn't threatened by them when I was growing up. So I said, Frank, when we get out here, man, have a smile, wave to the people, say hello, make them comfortable around you. And from what I heard, Frank was also he was running in the park shooting jump shots on the basketball court on his break. And on his first post, man, the people loved him. So when that shooting happened, they was like, oh man, after roll call, they was like, you gotta be careful, you gotta watch out for airmail. Airmail is shit people throwing off the building on top of you. We called it airmail. And Frank said I couldn't identify with that because I didn't have that problem. Matter of fact, after the shooting, people was coming up to me and talking to me. Why? Because they felt comfortable around Frank. But the other sector cars and the other posts, people weren't coming up to them. Matter of fact, I know for a fact that his coworkers were kind of like, not kind of, they were standoffish with him. Yo, Frank, why are you talking to them? Frank told me, it's like, yo, they come up to me saying, yo, why are you talking to those animals? Let me get this straight. Our coworkers just shot a man like 20 some odd times. One motherfucker emptied an entire magazine and reloaded. He had bullets through his feet and everything. All right. So the public is afraid of us because we did that shit and you're calling them animals? I said, Frank, you ever thought about taking the transit exam? I said it back then. I was done with this shit, man. I said it back then. But the community, although they had they had more than enough evidence in them to have their mind made up to say, yo, look, I'm not fucking with these police. They said, we're not fucking with cops, but that guy right there is true to us. The problems that officers had in those neighborhoods, Frank never had in those neighborhoods. Matter of fact, he's seen people about to do something. And they say, oh no, that's Frank. Let me not do that shit in front of him. They pop up a salute and they keep it moving. They respected him. He never had a problem, and he worked in 3 bad neighborhoods that I know about. And that all happened from one conversation that I had with him way back in the academy in a car one night. He got to know how Black people move based off of a conversation. And everything changed. And till this day, he thanks me for that. You understand? So Frank's not a racist. He just didn't know a lot of things. He didn't know. Each one teach one. You understand? So that's my little story about my white friend, my Italian friend.
All right, I hope you don't Paulie Malignaggi your ass.
Nah, he hates him actually. He knows what he's saying. He said, I can't believe that shit.
Well, yeah, you hooked him up, man. You probably saved a whole lot of. Saved a whole lot of you. No, I'm not saying probably. Could have saved a whole bunch of people a lot of headache, man, by letting the police officer know. Man, my mic has been in front of Cali Enigma. I don't know how long you've been here, dog, but you were positioned right below my mic. So on the screen, you're right below my mic, man. So I did not see you. What's good, Cali?
Oh man,
Oh
good,
man. I had to do Jinx, dog. You ever play Jinx when you were a kid?
Yeah, I played Jinx when I was a kid.
You know, when somebody knows.
You already know I'm coming in, man. I've been came in this way all the time, so you know now.
Oh man, ain't shit. You know.
Nah, man, shit. Cool, man. Chill by the water, and like that's my thing. Love to go to the water, man. It's just walk by the water, go to the pier. Go to the marina and relax. That's how I get my energy back. That's how, if I'm in a bad mood, it's the best way for me to calm down is to go simply chill by the water. So that's what I'd always do, whether it's by the bay or San Leandro Marina or Berkeley Marina, or go to Frisco, South Beach, something like that. Run down to the water real quick, Santa Cruz, whatever it is, or if I'm in Southern California, man. So that's just how I keep calm. Is going to go, drive to the water somewhere, or river, lake, doesn't matter. If it's a body of water, I'm there. I calm. So
that's what's up, man.
Yeah, yeah.
So hey, let's move on to a little bit of a boxing conversation, man.
Okay.
I heard you was betting on Manny beating Gennady Golovkin. Is that true?
Hell no, bro. Who I saw somebody speak. I think it was Ohio Runs Boxing posted about that. I thought it was a joke. Somebody was serious about that.
Yeah, hold on one second. Yeah, let me do something with Carlos Riz. Carlos Riz, where's KQK? See his old ass sleep. Was there a boxing match on last night?
I don't know. I missed it.
Oh, no.
No, there wasn't. I don't know, man. I hope he's doing well. I don't know, man. I haven't heard from him.
Let me snitch. Let me snitch. Blue Blood said that Manny has a chance to beat Triple G. Blue Blood said that.
Huh?
Yeah, Blue Blood said that. He said he thinks that Manny Pacquiao has a chance to beat Gennady Golovkin. Blue Blood did say that.
I think he got a chance. Man, these crooked motherfuckers, he'll find a way.
Yeah, if you pay Triple G to lay down, you play Triple G to lay down.
Man,
I guess, yeah.
After I saw that Sergey Kovalev shit, anything's possible.
What if you allow Manny to juice up to the gills? We've seen Manny juice up for years. So if Manny gets on the juice, takes everything in the world, and all of a sudden he's able to take punches from Triple G, then yeah, it's possible. It's definitely possible. Yeah, we know that they allow certain people to juice.
Listen, they don't care nothing about steroids, man. They care nothing.
They really don't.
Not a lick. That's just all that shit is another obstacle between them and the money.
It's a big payday.
And seeing as, let me leave this into you, Callie, because I think that you're a worldly man. As far as the steroids goes, you also got to sell them. You know what I mean? Like, so there's a business, right? So with that, have you known anything about this Kinahan situation with Tyson Fury? And
you talking about the boar meat?
No, Daniel Kinahan. I know what the problem is.
You talking about the mobster?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I heard a little bit about it, man. It doesn't surprise me at all. I heard, isn't he one responsible for quote unquote allegedly making the Joshua Fury fight? Something like that.
Dude, he's the biggest. He is, according to what the people in Ireland are saying, he's the biggest heroin dealer, one of the biggest heroin dealers in the world.
Wow.
And yeah, he's one of the biggest heroin dealers in the world, and arms dealer, and money launderer. They like the government flipped out. Like he got according to the government, he's got like 50 bodies on him. He got like 50 bodies. They say that they're putting on this dude. He's like, huh?
And they don't touch him. Must be nice, be white. I mean,
and have a lot of fun. No, I don't. I think his father spent a lot of time in jail, and people, have made attempts on people's lives over there. But hey, man, that's what it is. That's what they do. But I think that if that type of situation is there, it could be very difficult. Even like steroids in boxing can not only become something where people are cheating, it's something where people are making money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if it's tied into the to sanctioning bodies and promoters, then or even networks for that matter, why would they want to do something about it? If there's a lot of people making money, maybe there's some type of ring where everybody's getting the cut off of it. So why wouldn't you allow it in the sport? You may say it, you may use it for image purposes. You may want to say that steroid use is bad, but in reality, it's like you're getting your cut. Like, we're gonna pretend to be against it while actually being for it. That wouldn't surprise me at all. That's boxing. Sports has a history of cheating. So, and nothing surprises me in sports anymore. Whether it's people betting on games or people taking steroids. People still take steroids in football and and baseball on a regular basis. No matter what, they still get caught all the time. So nothing surprises me in sports when people cheat. Man, and I mean personally, look, we know for a fact that Major League Baseball that they wanted the players to at least they turned a blind eye to when baseball was struggling, and then it made its comeback. So boxing, I don't think boxing gives a shit about steroid use. I mean, it just had two dudes pop dirty, and Dillian White and Jarrell Miller, and they really didn't serve no time. So with that, matter of fact, not just that, Canelo didn't really serve no time. Tyson Fury didn't serve no time. He just decided to retire real quick. I mean, how many of these dudes are actually really serving time? A lot of these dudes are getting. I guess well, if you don't make any money, then of course that's when they pop you. But if you make money, they're not gonna. They're not gonna
Giving
actually stick you.
man, they giving them people 9 month suspensions after they're coming out of a fight. You know
And
what I mean?
that ain't shit. That really ain't shit. 6 9 month suspension. A
No.
6 month suspension, and Canelo was still able to get the 2 fights in that year anyway. So how did you actually punish him? There was no real punitive damages. He didn't fight on Cinco de Mayo, but he fought in September, and then he fought in December, and he made all the money that he lost. He made back. So I mean, where was the punitive damages? That I mean, the goal is to at least take one fight for him. From it, you allowed him to still get the natural 2 fights that he always gets in anyway. So where was the punishment? There was no punishment, and just like there's no real punishment for Gerald Miller, there's no real punishment for Dillian White. There is no real punishment. Dudes can do. You might as well just say it's legal at this point. And why are you going to even try to test people if you're not gonna actually punish anybody? If you're not punishing anybody with a big name, then why do you even suspend people? Just say it's illegal and go on about your shit. But we all know this is for images, for publicity. They have publicists in there, and so they try to like at least pretend like, oh, we care about the safety of the boxers. Bullshit. No, you don't. You don't care about the safety of the boxers. You don't care what fighters take. You don't care if fighters have loaded gloves or whatever they do. Fighters can do whatever they want to do, and as long as you make your money, you don't give a fuck. And it's always been that way, and it's going to continue to be that way. So no, I don't believe the WC, don't believe the WO, the IBF, or the WA cares about boxers, and I don't think any promoters care about boxers as well. At the end of the day, it's like, how much money can I make? Did we generate the right kind of revenue off of the fight? If we did, then why would I give a fuck what they take in the next fight if we've made more? Or let's put it this way: if what's the what I'm looking for? If let's say we had this a budget, we wanted to make X amount of dollars over the fight, but we exceeded those numbers. Why would I want to do something about cheating next time? I don't give a fuck what you do, as long as we hit the number, as long as we hit the magic number, and if we go well past that, why would I care what you do? Do whatever you want. Then the objective of this sport anyway is to make money. We really don't care if you die in the ring, but I made all my money. I'm happy. I have insurance. More than likely have insurance in the fighter anyway. I think they get insurance on each of the fighters during the fights. So they're not concerned about none of that. They don't want you to die because especially if they think it still make more money off of you. But the objective of this sport is not to do what's best for the fighter, what's best for the fans. Is how much money can we extract from the fans? That's the ideal. How much money can we extract from the fans and try to give the illusion that we give a fuck about steroids and we give a fuck about cheating, that we care about integrity of the sport. There's no integrity of the sport of boxing whatsoever. They don't give a shit. They just don't.
Real quick, Big Dog Willie in the super chat, man. He said, "Can I hear the drum drum symbol?" Oh man, I'll have where's my going thing, man? Fuck Dillian White, yes sir, you absolutely can. And fuck Dillian White, which is another topic of discussion. But we'll pass that on next. Real quick, what's your take on what's your take on that subject matter, Titan?
I'm not surprised. In this world, white is right. And when we bring it, I've had this conversation already in another in someone else's comment section, and 2 seconds into the conversation, someone posted, "What about Don King?" You see what I'm saying?
Oh, somebody said that dumb shit?
Yeah, what about Don King? You see what I'm saying?
Oh, by the way, my bad. Hamad S. No, it is heroin and ecstasy. Yeah, I'll let you get into the specifics of the answer, Drew Titan. Go ahead. I'm sorry, man. Continue. Yeah, but no, Hamad, it is heroin. It is heroin and ecstasy, not cocaine. Maybe cocaine too, but who knows? That's what they're saying. Yeah, arms dealer. It's heroin, ecstasy, guns, and money laundering. That's some heavy duty shit right there.
Damn.
No,
Yeah,
that's
man.
not fucking Don King.
Yeah.
Don, it's like Don King ran numbers. You know what running numbers is? Is gambling in a local neighborhood.
Don King never held down an entire country for slinging drugs. Now, is he 100% clean? No. But only in America, as he's running around waving that American flag. You know why? Because he got away with the dirt that he did do, but it was nothing on the level of what this fucking thug. This guy's a thug. Let's not lose sight of that. This guy's a thug. This guy got bodies on his record, confirmed bodies, and he's still operating in business. And you got guys like Bob Arum, who's been around every bit as long as Don King. You got Bob Arum.
Kicking it with him.
Yeah, just kicking it, just hanging out. And you got Tyson Fury praising him. But when we say, yo, man, Al Heyman's doing a good thing. Oh, you guys. Al Heyman doesn't even fucking talk. Can anyone tell me how Al Heyman sounds? Does he sound like Mike Tyson when he talks, or does he sound like Barry White?
I've only heard the rumor that he sounds like Barry White.
Hey, the only persons that could tell you that's probably Floyd Mayweather, or the Charlos, that the people that's spoken to him directly. But we don't know. The fans don't know. Hell, you had Bob Arum talking about the guy don't really exist. Remember that? Al Heyman's a fake person. Yeah, I don't even know if the guy exists. You know goddamn well you talked to him. You said that shit.
They made a fight together. They made a
fight. You said that shit fresh off of a verbal ass whooping. You went in there with your lawyer talk and not acknowledging that Al Heyman is an educated man, and he probably told you to go fuck yourself on some shitty deal you went to the table with, and then you ran to the media and said Al Heyman's not a real person. He don't exist. I don't think that black guy I spoke to is really Al Heyman. Al Heyman's probably an acronym for some black movement. Well, he didn't say that. I'm just saying, this is what this is how these motherfuckers think. We talking code and shit. But yeah, these guys are in bed with a known gangster. Can you imagine if there was a black known gangster with half of a reputation like that? And I don't know, maybe Al Heyman was dealing with that person. Or maybe Don King was dealing with that person. Can you imagine the black lash that they would get? Are you kidding me? Get the fuck out of here. I mean, these people are so...
Look, man, Al Heyman got his money. He got backlash for he got his money from, and that shit was an investment firm.
Remember that shit?
He got his money from an investment firm. And they was all like, oh, they're robbing the guys and all that shit. But this motherfucker show up with magic money.
Now motherfuckers,
$500 million.
Al Heyman got his money from robbing musicians. How do you know that? How do you know that? Show me the homework. Show me the paperwork where he got money. They start mentioning, and it's always funny. And I'm gonna go ahead and say it. It's always funny when you can read some Euro cracker, and I'm gonna say Euro cracker because these motherfuckers speak in racial overtones. That's how you know they only speaking from shit that they've heard or read briefly. They read one sentence and think they have an understanding of what a person is. Al Heyman robbed Mary J. Blige and robbed all these R&B artists, and that's how he got all his money. No, that's not what happened. But then you ask him to break down the science of that. Yeah, really? When did that happen? What happened? What exactly? Show me the quotes where Mary J. Blige says, Al Heyman robbed me out of $20 million. Show me the quote, dumbass. Assholes. See, but it's so bad that they have to make shit up about a black man's success. You have to make shit up. You know what I'm saying? We were not raised, but people who are new to the game were taught. This is how funny shit is. People who are new to boxing are taught that Don King was this bad person. because he had some dealings with Mike Tyson, and Mike Tyson blamed him for a few things. That's what they're taught. And they look at Don King and say, oh, well, how's he even in the business of boxing? But no one talks about what Bob Arum has done. No one talks about right now how Bob Arum and Tyson Fury are praising a known gangster, like of movie status. This guy's a known gangster. There's no debating it. He's a known gangster with over 50 bodies on his fucking record. 50 bodies. He got 50 more bodies than Deontay Wilder claims that he wants in the ring legally. And no one is saying anything about this. It's like it's not even news. It's not on ESPN. Please, if Al Heyman had a portion of the record that this guy had. Matter of fact, Don King had a murder charge. He actually killed somebody. Went to prison, did his time, and came out and was singing Only in America. People still bring that shit up. How about this? Whatever he was tried and convicted of, he served his time. He served his time and got right back to business. He did his time. This guy that Arum is working with and Tyson Fury is praising did no time anywhere. And he's a known thug. But no one's talking about that. Steve Kim ain't talking about that. Fat Raphael ain't talking about that. All you haters and you UK haters, you Deontay Wilder haters, you're not talking about that. But the way you paint a picture about guys like Don King and Al Heyman is 10 times worse than this thug that they're working with. Okay, this is what when I say that racism is very real in boxing, is very real. Now I've spoken to fighters that have worked with Don King, and you'd be surprised. Well, I wouldn't be surprised. They say, yo, look, Don was a good dude to me. When I needed an advance, he gave me an advance. I paid it back. Or, I ain't never had a problem with it. Nate Campbell said he never had a problem with Don King. Never had a problem. But everything he does is amplified. Why? Because of the color of his skin. Now here you have a black man like Al Heyman, doesn't give interviews, doesn't talk to the media, has a few pictures floating around the internet. I saw a video of him just walking around Las Vegas, some Las Vegas casino with another brother. He walked up and shook somebody's hand and just disappeared into the crowd. That's the only time I even seen Al Heyman move. But he said something to the dude. I didn't hear his voice. I was listening. I was rewinding the video. I said, I want to see how his voice sounds. The guy's a mystery because he don't talk, and that's by design. And he's proving what racism is. I believe when he's actually done with the sport of boxing, that's when he'll give a big old interview. And I think he'll say, now you see, I've been in the industry, the boxing industry, 20 plus years. I didn't say a word. I got a lot of guys their money. I tried to get boxing back on free TV. And they still threw me under the bus. Now, why the fuck do you think that? Why do you think that's so? Come on. Only in this world. Fuck America. Only in this world. Al Heyman has done nothing but do right by his fighters. Even fighters that worked with Al and stopped working with Al, you interview them now, they say, yo, I wish I'd go back to Al. Nothing but positive things is said about Al Heyman from the guys that actually had dealings with him. But he still catches this fucking hammer, this verbal hammer, like he's the worst guy in the world. Now here you got Tyson Fury and Bob Arum praising one of the worst people in the world. And no one is saying anything. No one is saying anything. How and where and what universe does that make any fucking sense?
Oh, hey, man, they're saying something, just to be clear. They're just not saying anything in America. They're saying a shitload about that shit in Ireland. It's a big fucking deal over there. They're not fucking around. That's like, no. That's thing. It's like an international fucking incident with this shit.
But in America, we're so fucking smart, right? We know everything, right? Where's Steve Kim's article about this? Where's Dan Raphael's article about this? Why is this not on ESPN? Why the fuck ESPN the Sunday morning after the Wilder loss, they can quote what someone heard allegedly about a heavy ass suit, and that could be news. And they can say, oh, well, Deontay Wilder said, and when I'm asking these dumb motherfuckers, show me the exact quote where Wilder was interviewed with a mic in his face, and he said, this is why I lost. We could talk about that, but we can't talk about this in America because you motherfuckers don't want to talk about it. It's big news in Ireland, but and I'm sure they know about it in the UK. Hell, I didn't know who the fuck this guy was. until people started making a big deal about it online. And I'm like, wait a minute, who is this guy? And I researched it myself. I said, oh shit, this guy's fucking Tony Montana, the Irish style. This guy's like the real deal. He's a real gangster. And I'm like, wait a minute, he's the one funding this fight? He's the guy that Bob Arum, who's a lawyer by trade, is getting in bed with? And then he's the guy that Tyson Fury is thanking? How are you doing business with this guy? If, all right, if this guy was Nigerian, if this guy was West Indian, would they be working with him? No. Would they be praising him with Tyson Fury? Now let's just say this.
It would be the motherfucker. You know who it would be like working with in Nigeria? Fucking Boko Haram. Like, it would
thank you.
Like fuck with Boko Haram.
Thank you. For those of you that don't know who Boko Haram is, go Google it. If you don't know who Boko Haram is, Google it. Google it. That is the absolute worst.
Boko Haram.
Yeah, Boko Haram has ties to Al Qaeda.
Yes, those guys are gangster.
Shit.
Those guys are terrorists. Those guys are certified terrorists.
Dude,
now imagine Deontay Wilder putting a fight together and Al Heyman putting the fight together, and then you looking at an article, he says, yeah, I like to praise Allah Abdulabi Bukama. And then you do the research on this guy, and he's some sort of heroin drug lord who has ties to Boko Haram. That would be front page news in all 50 states here. Look at your champion. Look at your favorite promoter. Look at what he's doing and who he's doing it with. Oh, this is bad. What the fuck? Get the fuck out of here. There's no energy towards this shit. Why is this not news, Steve Kim? Why is this not news, Dan Raphael? Why is this not news? Why are we the only persons talking about this? I don't see no videos on YouTube about this. Well, from us, you do. But all these haters, all these people that jump in our comment section, all these people who got so much to say in our comment section, where, newsflash, if you're on YouTube making comments on our comment section, you have a page. You have a page. Make your own video as to why you are perfectly fine with this move by Bob Arum and Fury. I dare you. You won't do it because you know why? You wouldn't be able to handle the backlash. And we don't even fuck with your hating ass channels. Just put it up. Put it up and see who does come for you. Because you know you're wrong. You justifying a goddamn certified gangster who got over 50 bodies on his. I want to see what his box rec look like. Do they have a, you know what I want to do? You know what? I better not, fuck it, I'm going to say it out loud. I want to put together a gangster box rec. And I want to put how many bodies these gangsters, these worldwide gangsters got. This motherfucker got over 50 bodies. You know what I'm saying? I want to put all the drug lords on there. The Mexican drug lords.
But it would fail. So the reason I would never do that, man, is I thought about doing that too. Except for every time I think about counting like killings, I'm like, damn, we're so far behind the military that it's like like it's no competition. It's like that's like small time compared to that shit. That's the fucking real. That's the. You ever notice, man? Like, just think about what's going on in the world, man. Without, and this is what I invite everybody to do, for real. Give you a different perspective of the world. Imagine that everybody is doing everything that they're doing, and they're just people. That they don't have any badges, they don't have any titles, they don't have anything that they're doing. Nothing that would make you, say whether or not what they're doing is inherently right or inherently wrong. Just get rid of, think about the policemen as just men that do that. And then think of armies as just men that do that. Right? And that's crazy to do it because for the most part, we're always conditioned to say, well, they're the police. That's obviously, that's obviously good. Right? And that's the military. That's obviously good. But if you think about it as just men, dog, we are small time when it comes to that violence, dog. Small time. And even like what we're going through, like this is the irony of I think a part of the irony about what's going on with like George Floyd and all this is because there is some shit going on in the world that makes all this look like, you know, nothing. You know what I mean? Like what's going on in the mid to like in Palestine and what's going on in the Middle East and shit that's going on. Like, you know, we could be fucking around and not know that 100,000 people got murdered somewhere, you know, in between, you know, like in the same places, by the way, where they want to take the fights, right? Because the fights they want to take them to, they want to take them to Saudi Arabia, they want to take them to Bahrain, right? Where these people got shit going on in Yemen, like that's how do the guns get to Yemen? You know what I mean? Like, and it's like it makes the fucking fight look like an arms deal. Is what the shit makes it look like.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I mean, there's real shit going on. This is small peanuts compared to what's going on, man. I mean, wasn't Boko Haram running around in villages and kidnapping the girls? You know, shit like that. I mean, really, like real shit going on. You know, of course, I'm not downgrading what's going on with
Drew. Boko Haram. They murdered a village of, I don't know, I think they murdered like 50 kids at one point or something, man. I don't know if you ever seen that picture. Yeah, they burned them alive in front of their parents.
Yeah, that right there, I said, oh shit, that's fucking crazy. I mean, that's real shit going on. So this George Floyd thing, it's big and it triggered the emotions worldwide, but there's also like other shit going on in this world, man. That makes it could make this look like small peanuts. You understand? It's like what's going on in like the ghettos across the nation. It's been bad, but then you know somebody in the upper class gets a hangnail, and that's big news. You understand? There's like real shit going on. This guy is a scumbag, a certified scumbag, and he's getting praised by Tyson Fury, and Bob Arum is praising him and doing business with this guy. And I'm just not amazed. I'm not amazed that old media is not saying anything about that. This is further proof that racism exists, Paulie Malignaggi. Okay, now this is a foreign, as far as I'm concerned, a foreign white man, two foreign white men, and a white Jewish man, right? Praising a gangster and doing business with a certified gangster, and no one on this soil is saying anything but us. But we're the problem for pointing that shit out. We're the problem for pointing it out. We're the problem. And you want to praise this guy? Like I said yesterday, congratulations, motherfucker. You just praised the guy for raping your sister or your mother or your aunt. That's what you did. You want to talk about, you know how they ripped Deontay Wilder for saying he wanted to catch a body in the ring, and they saying, oh yeah, well, you know, boxing is a gentleman's sport. They don't even know the history of why it's called a gentleman's sport. They don't even know the history behind that. You know what I'm saying? They misinterpret that shit like these racist crackers out here misinterpret the Second Amendment. They don't really know what it's for. All they hear is my right to bear arms. But there's a reason why you have the right to bear arms. You exercise it when you run up in City Hall with your guns out. And you don't even know the Second Amendment for real. So you don't even know why boxing is called a gentleman's sport. It has nothing to do with trash talking. It has nothing to do with it. Idiots. Boxing was invented so you motherfuckers wouldn't shoot each other. The duel, you know the duels we see in Tom and Jerry, where they would grab the gun, take 10 paces, turn around and shoot? That shit used to be real. Boxing was invented to stop that shit because you can walk away. The chances of you walking away from a fist fight was more high than walking away from a gun duel. That's why they called it a gentleman's sport, for those that don't know, fuckers. So if boxing is a gentleman's sport, is it gentlemanly to be praising a certified gangster? Talk about it. All you haters, talk about it. All you motherfuckers that ripped Deontay Wilder for saying, yo, man, I want to catch a body in the ring. All you motherfuckers that mocked him, talk about this. Where you guys at now? I know the trolls are listening. Where you at? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about these motherfuckers praising a certified gangster. This is not a debate. This guy is a million times worse. How many bodies that Al Heyman got? 0. Now I can hear the haters right now. Oh, well, you don't really know that he killed anybody. He's not been to court not one time. There's not been one murder linked to him. But this fucking guy, Ireland is saying, no, this guy's official. Certified gangster. Certified gangster. Nobody fucks with him. Over 50 confirmed bodies, drug pusher, and now he has his hands in the boxing world. And Tyson Fury's praising this guy. This motherfucker Tyson Fury gets the illest pass that I've seen in my lifetime. The illest pass. The guy who, what other fighter you know can fail a PEDS test, take a 2-year hiatus because he was really suspended, and no one says a word. The black man says, come out of retirement, boxing needs you. He comes out of retirement, puts on a good show. He cheats, but let's not talk about the cheating. That's another conversation. It's all relevant, though. He cheats him twice. Fuck it. Yeah, let's talk about it. He cheats him twice. That's how he says thank you. Cheats him 2 fucking times. Now he's up here praising a gangster. In what universe does this happen? Does this happen to any black fighter? No. You take Tyson Fury's exact career and make it Deontay Wilder's exact career. Deontay Wilder, the difference is Deontay Wilder doesn't have a career. Jermaine Taylor is certified crazy and damn near forgotten about. They don't even want to talk about Jermaine Taylor no more. Okay, but Tyson Fury gets all these passes, and he's a known drug dealer saying weird shit about how he's masturbating at 100 miles an hour 8 times a day, jerking off to AJ's naked picture, whatever weird shit he's saying. He says all of this crazy shit. And it's just, oh, you know, he's just being loopy. He's just being he's just selling tickets. Yeah, guess what? It's a little more than selling tickets now, because now it's real. He signed a deal with a gangster and praising a gangster. This is what he's doing now. No one is saying a word about it but us. It's not even on ESPN, man. And if it is,
man. Definitely not. Real quick, Drew, I'm sorry. When you wrap up, I got to do the super chat. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, you know, but that's all I'm gonna say about it. You know, ESPN ain't talking about it. Fox ain't talking about it. They're just talking about the third fight happening, but they're not talking about what are they doing to make the fight happen. I'm sure if Deontay Wilder linked up with somebody that had close ties to Al Qaeda, that had bodies on his resume, it'd be the biggest news in the fucking world. Don't ever tell me that racism doesn't exist in this sport.
Yes, sir. Malik Omar says, salute to Fanon, the Don Esquire. I'm disappointed in Tyson Fury exposing his hidden racism. I hope Wilder destroys his dog in the trilogy. Big up to AJ for standing on the square. God bless. Yeah, Malik, it is. I just think that he's just, dude, you don't know what Tyson Fury is going to think because he's a fucking pathological liar. You don't know what he's thinking. You know what I mean? Like, people around him think it's fucked up, so he's going to think it's fucked up. Like, or he's going to tell him, you know, that he thinks it's fucked up. But then the next day, he knows about slavery and the oppression and how we need to solve the problem. Right? Just whatever just whatever he thinks that second. That's probably the better way to say it. It's whatever he thinks that minute, you know, because he just says whatever the fuck comes to his mind. Now, at Boko Haram, I did see in the stream that there was a conversation about Boko Haram. That's where people tell me, let's go back to Africa. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. That would be a very difficult mix right there. Because that, and I definitely don't want to tell. I mean, I've never been to Nigeria. I've been to the continent once, never been to Nigeria. All I know about Nigeria really is the few people that I've met, a few professors that I've had, you know, and just being around people from Nigeria. My daughter's first tennis coach was Nigerian. So I got to talk to him, and I knew his family owned a port there. And, you know, so I got to understand a little bit and plus what I've read. But to me, it seems like that's like stuck between a rock and a hard place, right? Because on one side you have like the Christian missionaries going over there, and then you have Boko Haram, which is Islamic. Now that you said is no longer Boko Haram, it is and I want to make sure I call them by the right name. If you could write that again, Adewale, if you could put that name for what it's changed into in the comment section, that'd be great. But that's just really tough, man, because man, what kind of colony was Nigeria before? Nigeria speaks English, is a British colony, right? So forced Christianity, which I never understood. Like, God, dog, man, never understood it. And that mixing together, and then on top of it, you got the offspring and the people that are very closely related to the independence movement, African independence movement of the mid 50s to the mid 1960s. I think that was around the time frame that the Algerias and and all throughout the African independent movement. You know what I'm referring to. So they still have. I mean, they throw down. You know what I mean? They've been in like big time fucking fights, right? So not like shit we've been over here. Like only military that we really seeing is the people that serve in the military and the armed forces and go. Thank you, Windsor Taiwan. Nigeria is a British colony. Yeah, so it's a British colony like we're a British colony. So I know what the fuck they went through, but they're in the majority, so shit was ugly. They're doing all kind of shit to fuck with their heads, stay in control of that because they didn't have the physical control over the Nigerian. So they had to do a lot of class divisions and racial divisions and stuff to keep that under control. See, like the difference between the Nigerian, from what I can see, and the American is that we have two different types of experiences with the European, with the British. Yours was one as a minority, a minority, what do you call it? A minority majority relationship, in that there was a very small population of British there. They could have never been anywhere near the a major percentage of the population there. So they kept control by divisions caused by in order to control that, you have to have like things like religion, you have to have a lot of classism, you have to have you got to put the hands, like maybe if they call it tribalism, I'm not sure what the proper way to refer to that is, but that's a different scenario than what we are from. We're from an area where we are the minority. So it is really, it's not just a mental domination like they have to do with you. That's physical too. I mean, at points, because they had to have brought the military in there. But now you're controlled more by, military / just ethnic, based on the premise that it's ethnic or religious or whatever. But it's still the same mechanism. But you have to control it differently. Here we just get they just stomp motherfuckers out in the street, poison them slowly over time, right? Deprive them, can increase, your sense of alienation and separation, right? And then have class warfare within the organization. Now I'm not saying all of that is just a conscious decision that they're making. But no, I think a lot of that shit is conscious, but it still all comes from that same, the objective reality that for them, that you're the bad guy. So you are still the bad guy. You're the apes in Tarzan. Tarzan means white man in the language of white skin, in the language of the apes in Tarzan. I can't remember who wrote whoever wrote that shit. I don't remember who wrote that. But yeah, that was the same thing. So like they have their abandonment issue, right? They were separated from their pale humanoid, separated from his parents, who then come to rule the natives, right? Which are the big black Africans. So you guys are living in a Tarzan fucking situation. We're living in Star Wars, that shit. So anyway, yeah, man. After the first black heavyweight, Dre's finally said, after the first black heavyweight champion, Jack Johnson, beat a white champ, the white man refused to fight another black man for 30 years. They had actually been doing that shit for quite a while, Dre's Finest, because it was called the Color Line, and that was going on the whole time. Now they just more boxers. It was a thing with the boxers because they couldn't beat them. And that, I don't even think that was the scenario where a bunch of fucking bums got to run heavyweight boxing because they refused to fight. When you refused, because they all agreed to cut out the black fighters because they couldn't beat Sam Langford. They couldn't beat, they could not. It wasn't just Jack Johnson. They couldn't. If it was just Jack Johnson, they could have probably fought black fighters. You know what I mean? It wasn't that. It was because Sam McVeigh and Langford, right, and guys like that, Harry Wells, guys like that, because they couldn't beat them, and they in the society they were just like, fuck it, we're just not going to fight them. So they were a bunch of fucking cowards. Individual fighters were a bunch of fucking cowards. And John L. Sullivan, to respect to John L. Sullivan, John L. Sullivan called him that. He said, wherever you see the so-called color line, you're seeing a white fighter that there's a black fighter he don't think he can beat. That's it. And John L. Sullivan was no intense lover of the black man, but he was most certainly a boxer, and he called that shit for what it was, because at the time John L. Sullivan was that all that shit was going on. John L. Sullivan was kind of like Lennox Lewis is now, sitting back and talking about what he sees as a champion, to the media, and he just said they're just chicken shits. That's what it is. So there's no real major difference between what was happening to Sam Langford again and what happened to Deontay Wilder here now, except for they did it financially, and they did it without allowing him to fight. Like, those guys did not want to fight him. Dillian White didn't want to fight him. I don't give a fuck what Dillian White says. Dillian White didn't want to fight him. Dillian White really wanted to fight him. He would have fought Luis Ortiz. He would have fought Dominic Brazil like he asked him to. If that's what he thought, because if he thinks he can beat Deontay Wilder, he's got to think he can beat Dominic Brazil. So why the fuck didn't you want to fight him? To see if he would take, because you didn't want that fucking fight. And now you run around projecting on people calling him a chicken shit. You're the chicken shit. And AJ, I respect what you do. You were the chicken shit too. You guys were chicken shits. That's what it was. Because he was knocking all these people out, and say what you want about Tyson Fury. He ain't a complete chicken shit. They were fucking chicken shits. Pulev was a chicken shit. Povetkin was a chicken shit. That's what they were, chicken shits. And then Tyson Fury is not one. That's what Emmanuel Stewart said about him. He's like, hey man, that's a tough dude. He will fight. He will fight. He's not a chicken shit. The color line was nothing. It wasn't about not wanting to be in the ring with black fighters, because they were getting in the ring with black fighters. They were, in other weight classes. With, they were, during that whole time that there were other black champions able to fight for different things. Tiger Flowers got the middleweight championship, I think a little bit later than that. But there were all kind of black fighters were still able to get the shots, but they weren't in the heavyweight division because the heavyweight fighters were some bitches. That's all that was. And you should call him. Jack Dempsey was a bitch, straight up. That's why he didn't fight. That's why he didn't fight Sam Langford. And he said it. I couldn't beat Sam Langford, so I didn't fight him. Same thing. So all them dudes. It's not like, and here's the thing too. That's when you got to compare those eras of boxing. Those guys scared them motherfuckers and they're never fighting them. But you don't talk about them because you say, look at how Jack Dempsey fought back then. He could never fight now, but but he wasn't the best fighter. Same thing goes for baseball. They were chicken shits. That's why they didn't want to play. They were chicken. Not all the people won't buy the tickets. So, nah, bullshit. Y'all motherfuckers some chicken shits. Because the biggest sporting event ever, prior, in the 70s, the first international, mega event in boxing and in sports actually was Tom Cribb versus Tom Milano in the UK, and that was a black dude fighting a white dude. They knew that shit sold. Jack Johnson wasn't getting them fights and them fuckers not making money. They were making a bunch of fucking money off that shit. And they knew they would continue to get a bunch of fucking money off that shit. Uche Nawasori said, please listen, Boko Haram and others are not a major deal. there is perceived government involvement, aiding them and stuff. No doubt about it. Let me tell you, Mr. Nawasori, I can tell you what they are. Because they're the same thing as all the other insurgent groups. The same thing as all those other insurgent groups that you hear a lot about. They got a nice name that you can't forget. Come on, man. Shit's the fucking world system, homie. It's the planet Earth. Nigeria's on the planet Earth. Along with Venezuela, right? On the planet Earth. Ecuador, on the planet Earth. All these motherfuckers on the planet Earth. So we understand what that shit is now.
Those factions can't exist without government help. That's all I'm saying.
Well, we know ISIS has been funded by Saudi Arabia. I mean, that's like the worst kept secret around the world. So, I mean, of course, they're funded by different government entities, whether it's intelligence and stuff like that. Usually it's involved in some form of intelligence within the government that funds these, quote unquote terrorist organizations that really aren't terrorist organizations. Have been trained.
Hey man, I don't want to do the terrorist conversation though. I'm gonna slap that.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to go that.
Yeah. We got to be careful because YouTube. Those are buzzwords. YouTube will they act real funny style.
I just don't want to, and not just them. It's just that's not the fun. Just international. If you want to do the international relationship, we can do on Patreon. I'll talk about that shit all day. But I'm not interested in that because here's the fact of the matter with me. I don't know enough about that to feel like that's worth. If I want to talk about some hoodlum shit, we got some hoodlum shit going on right now over there in with the Wendy's. You see how they did the Wendy's in Atlanta?
Yeah, man. I uploaded that on my Instagram. Yeah, I'm not surprised by that. And then there's another case where a white dude did the same thing. Matter of fact, tased the police, pulled a gun out on the police, and they still arrested him without shooting him. So I mean, they had other options. It's when it becomes us to just the easier option to murder us. It's like, we black. I mean, he was obviously a far bigger threat than the white dude who had the gun. But that's just the way they perceive us. Well, I don't think I shouldn't say perceive us. Well, they are afraid of us. They are afraid of us.
Going on, man. Let me break this shit down, dog. I'm sorry. I have my conclusion drawn. Dude, we are in the middle of a motherfucking election cycle. Okay? This shit is all going on in the middle of election cycle, and the shit is fucking serious and hot between white people. And the one thing that these motherfuckers can do to expose and push this shit is the fact that they are coming off of the fact that they know what the fuck is going on. Okay, that's it. All they motherfuckers are doing is dropping their pretense in the lead up to this shit. And then we'll see if that pretense does not get put back up. Okay, because all of this shit was known. All of it is known. And this shit is gonna get, and it's getting heated. And I would just make sure that we understand who this argument is between. That's what I think. This is between nationalists and internationalists. It's to really simplify, but it's just an argument might be, and some people are bringing up, class, like a class issue too. But that's all we are really is the front for it. Like the one thing that you just cannot argue against. You know what I mean? It's like pulling out a dirty family secret and waving it in front of the world so that you can tell them that they're worse than me. Because I don't see any fucking difference, man. And it's hard for me, man, because I see that people are talking and they're upset and things are being burnt, right? Like those are the objective things that are going on. All right, besides the virus thing. That people are upset, people are fighting with police officers, and property is getting burnt, right? And black people are getting killed. Not to minimize that, But then at the same time, dude, the people that are pushing and getting on one knee are the people and the guy that's running for election is the guy that passed the omnibus crime bill that stuck millions and millions of people in jail and ruined their lives. And I'm supposed to be like him.
Mm-hmm.
That motherfucker did that. What do you think has caused the greater damage to black people? The riots, not the killing, because the killing happened the whole time. Okay. Just don't get it twisted. This is no new shit with black people getting done right in the middle of fucking in front of everybody for them to see. Okay. Odala, I forget his name, 20 something shit. Somebody letting off 20 rounds, 50 rounds on people. The only way you can do that is if you stop and reload. Okay. Right. And that was happening in the 90s. It's happening in the 80s. It's happening. It's like the fucking thing, dude, it's been happening the whole time. The only thing that happened is people stop with the pretense that they don't understand what's going on. So how long is the pretense going to, now the counter push is starting, right? But at the end of the day, you know, what are we going to have, like a mini civil war? How'd the Civil War go for us? You know, still, for real, if we're still talking about this shit now. You can't sign a piece of paper and set somebody free. Shit doesn't fucking work, man. And it's just, I'm just telling you, man, shit seemed like a fucking op to me. But go ahead, Callie. I know I heard you wanted to say you wanted to get in a little while ago.
Yeah, the whole idea of that, like I said before, more to me, I agree with you. To me, I think there's an internal war with white folks going on right now. That unfortunately, black folks were caught up in. Well, we've been caught up in all this shit. We have a system of white supremacy that exists in this country, but it's not just in this country; it's globally. And it's funny thing is that it's spilled out on the streets around the world, and you're getting a chance to see it live instead of just, you know, and on an individual basis. You're getting to see it on a global scale, and it seems like that white supremacy right now. Well, that's exactly what's happening. White supremacy is fighting to hold on to power. So you see, it seems like that people who feel like the system is being attacked right now, they're doing everything they can to try to protect it, to make sure that the status quo remains in place. And that's why you're still continue to see police brutality, police murder, black folks being murdered, and things of that nature. And even white folks getting stomped down too, especially white folks that are perceived to be protecting black people. So it's important. White supremacists, they do not want the system to change. Man, Richard Spencer stated it himself. He would like to expand white privilege. He thinks that white privilege is amazing. He believes that. Go ahead.
Who said that?
Richard Spencer. I don't know if I'll send you the clip. I'll text it to you.
Spencer?
Richard Spencer is a white supremacist who was who pushed Donald Trump. Okay. Yeah, you see. I'm pretty sure you've seen him.
I know who he is now. Young dude.
Yeah, young dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got punched in the face before. Black dude just came by and just you basically just stretched him.
Look, dude, them cats are like the LDBC.
Right.
That's who those dudes are. Richard Spencer and them. And I will say, because that's why they call us black racists, right?
Right.
Right. Because you will hear some of the same like viewpoints. Because you can go to, like, I subscribe to a channel that is like straight up, like, is actually an ex-police officer, but he's a serious nationalist. And all of these issues that they're having with the police, they have the same issues. And they're posting on stuff just like that. So, you know, that they are really, there's a lot of people that really is what they believe. Like, that's the people that I grew up with. That's really what they believe. That is not some hate. That is really them, like, even saying it, hate, like they may hate, but that world, that their viewpoint isn't hate. That's their reality. It really is, man. Go ahead, man. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, good. Matter of fact, speaking of, I think you were talking about before was Cicero. Black folks were getting beat down there just like a couple weeks ago.
Cicero.
No, about a week ago. Black
Cicero.
And Cicero, they were beating the shit out of black people. I don't know if you heard about that.
Cicero, Illinois?
Yes.
I mean, what's fucking new?
Well, they were doing it. They were black people would drive by. They were pulling black people out of their cars. Yes. Same thing was happening in South Side Chicago.
Yes. Guess why?
Because they're black.
No, because they were police. Because they're the police. That's where the fucking police live. That is
the police live in Cicero. Wow.
That's right outside the city of Chicago. They got a ton of police live in Cicero. It's not technically in the city, It's right outside the city. It's technically a suburb of the city, but that's where Al Capone. That's where Al Capone held up shop and ran the city. Those people that are related to police officers are snatching motherfuckers out of there. You listen to Jimmy Dore. Like Jimmy Dore is a guy that I don't know if you guys have seen him or
I know Jimmy Dore.
Yeah.
Used to be with the Young Turks.
No, Jimmy Dore. Yeah, Jimmy Dore is from the same dude. He's the same age as I am, and he's from I guarantee his ass is from Cicero. If he ain't from Cicero, he's right at maybe a suburb right next to Cicero. But that's where he's from. So when you listen to him talk about he talks about the police. He knows. Because that's where the fuck he grew up. There's a ton of the motherfuckers that live there and go to the city of Chicago fucking up people on the south side. That's the south side. That's where that's the closest neighborhood to live into, and it is a very nice. It's a nice southwest suburb. It's like a mini city. Very, not overly wealthy, but very like manicured lawns. Very, so they ain't not fucking playing. They don't play around with that shit. Absolutely.
Yeah, south side of Chicago, there was Latin kings that were dressed up and they were working along with the police to beat up black people. That was just something else that came up. Like, what the hell's going on in Chicago? Out of nowhere, all of a sudden, black people who were just pulling up to the stoplight. They would wait till the stoplight, till the light would turn red, and then they would go pull black people out of their cars and beat them. And it's just black people who weren't even aware of what's going on. We're getting attacked by Latin kings and the police. They were right alongside the police.
Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Chicago. Them kids out there didn't turn into like killers like that for no reason.
Which is what I was saying before. Someone was asking, where the gang's at, to ante up against these corrupt police officers. And I said, look, these gangs are not what you think. All of these gangs got FBI plants inside of them that are high ranking within the gangs. And a lot of them just simply are on the take. Look, we'll give you $50,000 to do X, Y, and Z. Go burn up that building. Go beat up a couple of black people. And these guys will take the money, man. These guys will take the money between those little low-level hood rats that are taking $50,000 so they could buy 50,000 pairs of Jordans, and the high-ranking FBI agents that are within the gangs. The gangs are tainted, man. The gangs are tainted. The gangs don't even have integrity on their end anymore. So that's what's going on with that.
Man, fuck around in Chicago if you want. They kill Harold. I still believe they killed Harold Washington. I'm from there, so I can tell you that. Like that, I'm from there. And then see, me, where I grew up, was actually even more removed from black people than Cicero was. Cicero, it's like, they killing you because you come in the neighborhood, right? So because they're like, nah, you're not crossing over here. You got to have a reason to be over here. They used to have these things called these little stars around houses in the suburbs. You ever seen those? Like the little badges, like the little blue badges. Damn. Okay, so yeah, I grew up really in it. Y'all don't notice. They have these little blue stars that they put on the doors, right? That are neighborhood watches, right? But they're they're like people who are boosters of the police or whatever. And you'll see them on maybe 2 houses on every block. So if the people with the blue stars on their house, if you walk around a neighborhood where they got blue stars on those doors, dude, you don't need to be nowhere near that fucking neighborhood. Okay, you need to get your ass up and get the fuck out, because they are closely tied to the police. They're the ones that are getting your ass killed. So like people don't understand, like the Betsy that calls the police and does that. That's the same scenario that you see like in the neighborhood that I grew up with, the neighborhood watches. So for like I could not step on the yard of these people's of a lot of these people's homes. Like the ones with the blue stars, like you couldn't step on their lawn, go anywhere near those houses. I couldn't. Right now, they couldn't put me out of the neighborhood because they knew where I lived. They're like, that little nigga lives right over there. Right? But they was not happy about a motherfucker being there at all. And it would not be surprised me at all that people got killed in those scenarios over there. Doesn't surprise me at all. Doesn't surprise me at all. And quite honestly, the more black people move out of like the projects and all that stuff, the more that shit's gonna happen. Because back when there was projects in Chicago, like everybody was living, in the same area, and we might be killing each other. But when you disperse the population and you start having situations where kids are growing up like where I'm growing up, oh, you can die. That shit ain't no fucking joke. You catch a body. I mean, you can be gone. You know what I mean? Like on that level shit, you can be gone. So like I always make sure. I tell people, like, people think I'm tripping on that. I always live near a black neighborhood. Always. Always. Never, ever, ever completely isolate yourself from the black community. Never.
I agree with that, man. I agree. I totally agree with that. That you definitely want to stay around your people, man, because I know there's black folks who like to go move around and move out and go live in a neighborhood where they're the only black person. Man, I would never feel safe, and I would have to keep my eyes wide open in the neighborhood. I wouldn't even want to be in a neighborhood like that. So to me, that's very uncomfortable to not see any other black folks. I've been places where I'm walking around like, where are the black people at? I mean, it's time to get up out of town. I mean, I've been in Wyoming before, and going through Wyoming, and it took me about 3-4 hours before I saw the first black person. I'm like, man, I got to get. I was just driving through, but I knew I wanted to get up out of there ASAP, man, because I know that. To me, I mean, just it looks like one of those places where black folks go through there and they just disappear. So I didn't want to be in there long term. I was like, man, I ain't seeing no black people. We need to be getting the fuck up out of here, man. We need to keep driving through. And we get gas, and we get going. We do not stay. We don't stick around. I don't believe in sticking around in places like that where there ain't no help. And I look at that's why I say no help.
When you go to places out where there are not a lot of black people, that's when you run into the problems of the George Zimmermans. That's that move. The cul-de-sac, they were like, he was in a private neighborhood, and and this self-appointed police officer came up to him and started, and he wound up shooting him. Like, what do we come to? Is, man, you fucking kidding me? Nigga, welcome to my world. That ain't no inner city black kid problem. That's a fucking suburban black kid problem. That shit is the fucking for real. Like, it always killed me, even like the conversation that like people have about like the field nigga and the slave, the field nigga and the house nigga thing. Dude, like this fundamentally, dude, I was like, Malcolm X must have been primarily from the city. Like he was working heavily in the city. But if he was out in the suburbs, like he's away, like where the house slaves were, like they're the only one, dog, you got no fucking idea what was happening to them motherfuckers. Like, can you imagine your motherfuckers right there? It's not like 300 yards away. You know what I mean? Your job is not to get into the field and work. Your job is to do the shit he wants you to do in his house. Oh, you understand the amount of fucking perversions that you are subject to? I mean, straight out shit. Like the shit that where Joy DeGruy says, like the children that were killed by the white women that own the slave owners' wives. Like, why do you think she would be around them kids? Kids were in the house doing something, more than likely, some task or something, and got too close to her. And she killed him.
I spoke to a dude who lived in Iowa once, and he told me, he was like, he said that where he grew up, there was like only 4 black people within like a 50-mile radius. Four black people, man.
Yeah,
which is at least a four black family. Yeah, 4 black families, I should say. And he felt uncomfortable once he graduated from high school. He moved away ASAP. He never returned back. I said whether he said his experience was that bad, it dealt with so much racism, so much hate. He was just the oddball
in Iowa. Yeah,
in Iowa. Yeah,
of course. Iowa, Nebraska, like where Terrence Crawford is from. Nebraska, come on, man. Nebraska, all that. They just, people get this idea about, especially if you're not from the United States,
right?
You think that everybody is, it's all about the inner city. It's not all about the inner city, and it's going to be less and less like that. because there's going to be lower concentrations of black people in inner cities. It's going to be shifted. It's shifting away from the inner city, especially now that you have all of this telecommuting jobs and things like that. People are going to be more dispersed. And if they're doing, any reasonable amount of social planning on how you deal with this and making sure you don't have people piled up into cities where you got $5 million on 5 million people on an island, right? And somebody catch a cold and that shit's out on everybody. So if they're going to start spreading that stuff out, now you're going to have 17. You're not going to have as many of the collected pools of black people. You're going to have us living in pockets, maybe smaller towns like, where you'll have a substantial, like a little amount of black people there. But, it's, you need to solve the police problem before it gets to that point. For real. Because if it gets to the point where, where there's no, like, you don't have like the shit they're doing in New York that shit is ugly, dude. But you're gonna get a lot of shit get covered up, and you'll never hear about it in the suburbs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyway, man, go ahead, because we're gonna wrap up after that, man.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I tell everyone this story about what happened to me in West Virginia. I was with some relatives, and we took a wrong turn somewhere. We drove by this house that looked just like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre house. It was on a dirt road, and we was trying to get back to the highway. We saw an old white man in a rocking chair, something out of a movie. And we see him, and we slowed up, and we was about to ask him for directions. So I told my cousin, I said, yo, just keep driving. Went down, got to the end of the road. There was some water there. We turned around. We said, look, fuck it. We're going to go back in the other direction. We're going to find the highway. We drove back past that man's house. He was sitting down on his porch, and now he had a rifle in his hand. I said, you know what? Let's get the fuck out of here, because this guy right here will shoot us and bury us in the woods, and they'll never find us again, and they won't even look for us. This is crazy. So that's West Virginia. That's like about 5 hours from me. So yeah, this shit is very real out here. But that's all I want to share.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. So yeah, absolutely, it's crazy shit out here, man. So hey, Callie, let them know how to get you, man.
You can find me at the Cali Enigma on sports, and you can find me at the Cali Enigma on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. I'm active on all. The least active on Facebook, but you definitely catch me on Twitter. Especially lately, been talking to some stupid ass white supremacists, a white dude talking about he didn't believe that black people were mistreated when they came back for World War I and II. It's like, ready to slap shit out this motherfucker. But if I ever see him, that's just the way I feel. Like I said, this dude, because he never seen it, and he's a fucking racist. And so racist ass cracker decided that since it didn't happen to white people, that black people were treated well when they came back from overseas. Like, I mean, are you living in the alternative reality? Like, I believe that some of these people know, but some of these people don't care to know, because hell, it's not happening to me, so I don't give a fuck what happens to other people. So I said, fuck these people. I understand that a lot of these fucking people are just the way they are. I've been hearing more black people say, "Oh, there's something wrong with this guy. He must have suffered from mental illness." No, it's not mental illness. That's just who the fuck he is. That's who these people are. The history has shown you globally.
Oh, that's just mental illness.
Oh, you think it's mental illness?
Fuck yeah. Yes.
We got to be careful.
I think it is a fucking massive I think it is a fucking superiority complex, right? Which is obviously, related to deep-seated, inferiority complex. Yeah, I think they got a fucking mental problem. Yes, I think.
No, I think it's more insecurity. Insecurity
is a mental problem.
Yeah. We got to be careful when we accuse them of mental illness, because when they start killing us, they're going to claim they're mentally ill.
I was mentally ill. That's exactly why.
Mentally ill, man. Of course they are, dude. In order to see a human being, dude, that is not sane. What that man did, he got on the neck. Those 4 men got on that dude's back, stuck his knee on that dude's neck, and watched him die.
He felt him pass away. Well, he felt him pass away.
He is, by definition, insane. That's why I said earlier, you got to look at people like they're people and not the fucking uniform. That's a person. that did that shit. That is as sick as a fucking. That is as sick as if you look at an animal, grab another, just as inhumane as you can get. Because that's what is something a non-human do. You'll see a lion just roll up and start killing every little baby he can find because he wants to get some coochie, and he don't give any fucking sense whatsoever about the life of those little cubs he kills. Doesn't care. Just, hey, it's my shit. I want that. These little motherfuckers are gonna get in the way of me getting some pussy, so I'm killing them. That's inhumane. That is the sense of isolation from your humanity, from his humanity. He saw him completely as an object. That is, by very definition, insanity. But the problem is that there are very few sane people. Very few sane people. Black people aren't sane. How can you fucking be sane? I'm not sane. I'm looking at a picture of a man getting fucking murdered with a knee on his neck. And I said to myself, another one? And I went on about my business the first time I saw it.
That's not normal.
Didn't affect me for 5 seconds. It's only when I look at it again, because I train my mind to leave it just so I know what it is, and I know what it is in abstract. I don't need to focus on it concretely. That is definitely mental illness, but they don't understand that they are mentally ill, and their mental illness, which is their distorted viewpoint of the world, is directly aimed at us. And as a result of being under that gaze, actually being with the psychopath, right? A psychopathic thing. Listen, just look what capitalism is. Look what imperialism is. Look at what
capitalism is definitely sociopathic. It definitely
the whole fucking thing is sociopathic.
Yeah.
The whole idea that is based and premised on the evil nature of man, and that they have a desire of selfishness, right? That's what I think that's Ayn Rand was talked about, the selfish nature of humanity. That's what they believe. That is the very definition of isolationism. Not isolationism. What do you call it? When you're just completely separate from someone, separate from things. When you're isolated, or when you're there's a specific term for that. But basically your own sense of alienation. That's what
I read to believe in self-indulgence. She definitely believed in self.
What she believed, basically at a fundamental level, is that human beings are isolated individuals whose job it is to acquire the most for themselves. That is a mental illness. That's how a psychopath is made. That's how a sociopath is made. That's the core of it. The core of it is that you see yourself as the center of everything, and everyone else and every other thing is object for you to manipulate and play with. That's what we see played out on a grand scale. The microcosm is the individual. The macrocosm is its expression in the government entities and all and the actual expressions of it, whether it be in basketball or whether it be in politics or whether it's in world relations. It all starts with the hyper-competitive superiority/inferiority complex called white supremacy. And that's why you can't talk to people. They have to do things like, I heard this woman say that it took her all these years to figure out why she saw a black man, why her palms got sweaty, and she started just jerking away. And she said, hold on, man, that's not my racism. That's my dad's racism. Now I understand. No, bro, you don't understand. That's your fucking racism. It's yours. You're just going to the fucking cause, but it's yours. That's your worldview that you accepted. And you're going to have to look at a lot more than just you fucking flinching, because that's not the only thing. Creating dependencies and all kind of other manifestations of that shit. And unless you, in dealing with that, that's why I think you wind up having all this other shit pop out and all kind of other craziness. But dude, Callie, that is by definition a mental illness. But it's such one. That's why the psychiatrists, they moved to pumping people full of drugs. They said they had to change it. They had to stop. Like the field of psychiatry. Like, think about this. And the issues going on with medicine, right? Dude, Angie Wise, sweaty palms, dude, you got to see. I've been around them a lot. I'm telling you what they are. They freak out. They freak out.
I like what you were talking about with the individualism that they believe in instead of collectivism. They're definitely anti-collectivism. I've spoken to plenty. They're like that. Well, I think that we need to do things on our own and consume as much as possible. But they believe in consuming at someone else's expense. So that's sick. That's definitely a sick behavior.
It is the very basic. It absolutely is. That is why they're so good at violence, because they are constantly planning and thinking about violence. And I'm not asking you to like what you think about world events. I'm just saying, just look at the TV programs, look at the television programs, look at the what we talk about on the news. Talk about like what is considered significant, like being a heroine, a hero. A hero or a heroine. A female, which is a heroine, is a female hero. Like, it's a lot about me against you. They
or creating a God complex. It seems like that's what it's like. Feel like they're trying to create a God complex. Like every individual has to have this God complex that
they have.
all about you.
I think the simplest definition is that it's white supremacy. That they have, and don't think of it like is. At least I'm not thinking of it is something like they've tried to define that shit as a group of hillbillies. It's not. It's an actual state of being. They want to be supreme. And we don't have to associate necessarily violence with it to be supreme. It's just they want to win at everything. They want to be in control of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter.
Richard Spencer admits it.
Violence is because he's telling the fucking truth.
Yeah.
He's telling the truth. He's telling you he's telling you and talking to these people like, fuck all this dumb shit. This is what we really believe. Why the fuck are we acting like we don't believe this? This is what the fuck we believe. And they're telling the truth. And other people are hiding behind the shit and then trying to come whittle back because they don't want to go all the way in with it. They don't want to go all the way in with it. And that's why I was saying the most important thing, I think, like manifestation that you see with that is in the white American population is the opioid epidemic. The opioid epidemic is directly connected to that because they're self-medicating at high rates. The reason why you do drugs and you smoke weed is to get high. You are self-medicating. So they are self-medicating. They thought the war on drugs was about us doing crack and weed, but no, it's for them. That is like a major, huge thing that is killing a lot of people. But why? Because the medications are given to them for psychiatric reasons. Because they want to dope over the problem and dull your senses. They don't want you to actually address the issues that cause all of these other problems.
Right.
So like, why am I aggressive? Why do I feel nervous when I see a black person around me? What is it about them that makes me feel this way? And instead of thinking it's the object, think it's you look at the person that is observing it. But they won't look at it that way. They dope their problems up. They're boom, alcohol. Dude, you can't get fucked up with a white person. You'll be on the fucking floor. I promise you. That is well known. We cannot fuck around. We do not self-medicate like they do.
Well, you know what you're describing? You're describing that white supremacy is just as destructive to white folks as it is to black people.
Absolutely it is. Yeah, because you're stuck on a chessboard that isn't real. It's a chessboard and it's not real. It's a fucking game that you're playing. That is just a human being. And I'm just a human being. That's it. But you don't know that because that's why I say race is racism. Race is racism because it is the separation of human beings into different groups based on color. Now, Francis Cress Welsing would say from a psychoanalytical position that their desire to separate people into colors specifically is related to the fact that they don't produce it and that it creates a certain sense of inadequacy in that area. Now, think about that, because you can be superior. To be superior means to be superior in everything, right? We're not superior to European Americans because we're better basketball players. We're just better basketball players, right? In order to be supreme, you have to be it. You got to cover the whole fucking 9 yards. To be a god, that's what you have to do. So anything, if you have that mindset, anything where something is challenging you has to be shut down. And it is it is fundamentally a mental illness.
Well, you saw that CEO, right? There was the vice president. I think it was in Buffalo. He came down, he started beating up white kids. And this guy was willing to give up his career in order to defend white supremacy. I mean, that's some sick ass shit. Were you willing to give up your lifestyle in order to defend white supremacy? That is insane.
Oh, yeah, that's called a mental break. That's called having a break. Some of these police officers are having breaks from reality and prolonged ones. Prolonged breaks from a neutral reality when you can look at somebody laying down there like that. They're clearly traumatized individuals. Clearly. The steroids, the muscles, the hyperaggression, right? All of that, the desire to control people. You have a real life. It's no surprise to me Drew was a policeman. He want to beat the shit out you. That's a matter of dominating your ass. He's going to tell you in a fucking heartbeat. You fuck around with me, I'm laying you on your fucking back.
8 years of stress. I'm telling you, it fucked with me. It took me a while to deprogram myself, and I still got that shit in me too. I still look at people strange when I walk at the street, like, what the fuck he about to do? I'm serious.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
Trauma will do it to you because we're human beings. We're human beings first. So the commonality that we have is that we're human beings. But once you separate human beings from one another, then if I'm the human, then you no longer are. But mostly, like that shit that goes on between them, that's a dynamic of the same shit. Because they have in their own community a terrible problem with hoarding. Like these billionaires they're crazy. They're hoarding. Like if anybody stuck that much of any other fucking thing in their fucking house, you would think they were fucking crazy. What the fuck do you need everything in the world for? What do you need a fucking island for? And 400-foot boats and 10 houses and what the fuck do you need all that for? Because for real, like at a certain fucking point in time, a reasonable person should say, shit, I got what I need. But they go well beyond what they need. That shit becomes hoarding. The elite level, right? What they call the elite level, because they're living in a whole nother world where everybody is serving them and everybody's happy to see them. And they have a serious, you are affected by your environment, not just your physical nature, but also you're formed by your environment. And think of the environment that they came from. But don't think of it just as pretty. Think of the shit as highly dysfunctional. A lot of people didn't like the Netflix flick series as fuck, what is it called, like Black AF, because it showed, and I love the shit because it showed wealthy black people in their dysfunction and the confusion on what to do with money and all of that shit, because they were coming from somewhere and coming into a community now where they have an entire different set of we call it mores and expectations and things on them. And then it showed that they were still, and this is, I think, as a separation, a class separation that is awesome, a financial separation is hard for people to get by. But dude, you're not gonna, let me tell you, I was born on the other side of the bridge. Okay, straight up. Not rich, bananas rich. But I ain't never, ever been hungry day in my life. Let me tell you, dude. And that was my framework of seeing, of my reality, is that I never, ever had to think, oh, will I be able to go to college? Will I get a job? Will I have a car? And will I be able to do this? Because that's what I grew up having to a certain extent, right? So a lot of people think once they get there, right, that's going to be the end of it. But that's not the end of it. When you get, and I do think it's important for people to get their money. Get your fucking money. And I think you should get your money for this reason. Get your fucking money, right? If they gave $250,000 to every black person, cool. Get your fucking money. Get over the fucking bridge where you don't have to worry about anything materially, and get your fucking head straight. Because if you don't get your head straight, that fucking money is going to be gone. Because you're going to overcompensate, right? Like, to me, all of there's a real reason why white people do not drive, wealthy white people don't drive ridiculously big, expensive fucking cars. Because they don't have any need to overcompensate for a sense of inadequacy as it relates to money. Like, that's what I see with Floyd. And I see you see the dudes that get all the money, right? What do they, first thing you do? You lace yourself with diamonds and gold. Well, what's diamonds and gold? What is that? Those are all currency, right? Those are precious metals. Those are currency. You can sell that. So you're telling people literally the value of your money, and you're showing it them. Actually, that is an overcompensation. That's an overcompensation for having a life of not having anything and having people believe that you are less than them. You believing, rightfully so, that they believe that you were less because you didn't have that money. But now that you have it, you want to let them know now that you're not lacking anymore, because you have made it. But the very fact that you feel like you have made it by acquiring those materials tells you that mentally you are not well, because you are not happy with who you are. And that is the definition of mental health, is for you to be able to be happy with who you are, where you are right now. That's mentally healthy. I know some of you guys, we got very few Harry Potter movies, but there was a great analogy in the book of Harry Potter. And it's called this thing called the Mirror of Erised. Now, Erised spelled backwards is desire, right? The mirror of desire. And so Harry Potter looked at it, and every time he looked into this mirror, all he ever saw was what his heart wanted more than anything else. And for him, it was his parents. So he got to see his parents, and he'd go there night in, night after night, night after night, night after night, and continue to look at his desire, right? But the desire was never real. Well, the only thing that was real was the desire. The object of the desire was just an object. It didn't have any other value other than the fact that he wanted it. So once you get it, then what do? You still have to deal with your sense of inadequacy, because the financial inadequacy is only one level of inadequacy. The other inadequacies are the ones, our sense of inadequacy comes directly from the perception of white people and what they say we are not. And we overcompensate in many ways. Many of the most brilliant minds that there are in the Black community are overcompensating academically. I'm reading their materials and going through it, and I'm like looking at it from that mindset, and you see who would spend this much time doing this and going through. You're overcompensating for your sense of inadequacy by trying to get as many degrees as you can. Because if I am attorney Fanon, then hey, I'm not McDonald's worker Fanon, and then my value is based on the job that I have. So what does Floyd Mayweather Jr. do when his championship is gone? Because he can't defend it anymore. Now he's only relying on his money. And if he continues, and that's what the fear that people have for him, and rightfully so. And the reason why Black athletes lose all their money, because they continue to overcompensate. So since you're overcompensating for that feeling inadequacy related to your money, and if you don't understand and get rid of that sense of inadequacy, you're going to spend every fucking dime you got trying to maintain it.
You know what, though, Falon? Maybe.
Hold on one second. Hold on one second, Callie. $18 million watches? Really? If you really $18 million watch, that's not a mental illness. That's a mental illness. That nigga's crazy. Go ahead, Calvin.
No, so maybe this is helping Devin Haney, maybe starting to help other young Black boxers. Maybe that's what he needs to do to make him feel better, to make him feel whole. Because he's obviously, Floyd Mayweather discussed stuff like this before, where he's discussed being feeling empty at times, and maybe he needs to do things and make himself feel whole. Maybe helping out other kids and help them improve their boxing skills and giving them knowledge. Maybe that's something that can help him feel a lot better about himself. Because like you have money. Just the best thing you could do at that point is just give back in some ways. I'm not saying it has to be financial, but just if you can give back with your personal knowledge of the sport of boxing.
None of that shit's gonna do him any fucking good, or you any good, or me any good. Whatever our problem is, because I'm just using a hyper example that everybody can Appreciate. I don't mean to knock Floyd Mayweather. I don't think he's any different than anybody else.
Oh no, well, no, I'm not trying to get a pick. I'm just saying maybe that will help him. That's what I was trying to suggest.
Yeah,
I don't know.
My personal belief is what any other well, not any other because I'm not one, but what a somebody in psychiatry would probably tell him. You got to fix the problem. Or Eastern, like I went to some like a Hapkido. I can't remember. It was like something Eastern, like I think something I was trying to work on getting stronger. And there was a guy that was from like an Asian culture, and he said, "Well, you can't just fix that problem. You got to fix everything. You know what I mean? You got to get your whole body completely healthy. Otherwise, all you're going to do is you're going to fix this, but that injury is just going to pop up somewhere else." So in a physical sense, he talked about how you can heal your body. You have to heal your whole body. So in order to do that, though, you have to address the whole thing. And for example, until I understood in my personal life, and this is something I'm attesting to as a person, as soon as I stopped feeling as if I needed to live up to the expectations of white people, I got a lot smarter. Once I stopped feeling like I had to live up to the expectations of black people, I got a lot more money. And it made things much easier and much more simple.
Wow.
Mentally, you got to stop trying to live up to white people. And financially, you got to stop trying to impress or live up to other black people. And I don't think that it's stupidity. I think that it's logical. That it's a logical decision that we make. See, stupidity is really just off logic. Your logic is off, but it is a thought process, right? But it's not a very efficient thought process. But if you look at what he's trying to accomplish and the means at his disposal, that's the only logical thing that he could do. If the only way that he can medicate that anxiety or that problem of inadequacy that he has is to overcompensate for it, then he has to overcompensate for it because he doesn't have the tool in his disposal to deal with it in a holistic fashion, which is why do I have this feeling? And until you can say why, at least you have a general, grasp of why you have the problem, you can't solve it. You got it. But once you do have it, you're like, oh, here's the fucking problem. I'm fat because I sit on my ass half the day doing videos. I got to get up and move, But with the situation with us and our mental issue, we have, people say mental illness in the black community is prevalent. No, I think mental illness in the black community is ubiquitous, omnipresent in everyone to some degree or another. And it has different manifestations. That manifestation could be, and this is why they want to get so much, they want to, when people talk about people being gay, right? And like the act of having sex with, same sex, that's because they have no concept of the development of the person, the spiritual person. They think that it all has to be biological in nature. It has to be physical. So even when we addressed our problems, our mental illness for us, like hyperviolence might be mine, and it is. I'm very I snap and twitch. You know what I mean? I think things and I'm brooding, right? Those are my things. The other way, but that is just a manifestation of the same problem that, say, RuPaul has, right? RuPaul has the same inadequacies, the same pressures and insecurities around being black that I do. But mine manifests with me doing this. His manifests with the need to be a completely different person, right? Like I just want to be something so different from myself that I'll put a wig and a makeup on and I'll change my name and I'll sing and dance for white men. Because I so much want to be so different than what I am, because what they've cast me in, I'm not really. So at least if I change this, I can change myself into what I want to be. And it's my choice that I behave this way. But it's my observation, or at least my belief, that is all from the same problem. The same sense of inadequacy, the same sense of isolation, the same sense the same sense of separation that we have from the rest of the world, because they look at us through a lens that is not us, and the need to adapt. And the need to adapt to that is very destructive and very distracting. You know what I mean? So anyway,
No,
man.
actually, glad you said that, because this is I've been saying that I've been saying this for a while, that when Black folks stop caring about how white people view us or how they feel about us, and we stop feeling the need to make them like us, I think that we'll be able to move along. We still haven't gotten over that hurdle. I'm talking about as a community globally. We still feel the need to appease white folks, and until we get away from that, I think we're still gonna have somewhat of a setback. I don't know what your thoughts on that.
I think until we reflect upon ourselves and pity white people, I think that's really the key for me. Because pitying them makes me calm. Because I know that they're crazy. And I know that I'm crazy. So I try to work on myself. And I try to understand that anytime I'm around that situation, shit might pop off. So I try to contain myself. I had an incident with a police officer. He didn't think I knew he was a police officer, but I knew he was a police officer. Because don't nobody fucking act like that but police officers. And because he did something with my son that would have normally had somebody fucking get laid out. But because I knew that when I say he's a police officer, I mean he's a white person. That's what they are relative to us. That's their function in our lives, is to police us. That's what they believe their function is. And as a result, that's the function that they've taken over everybody, to police them, to tell them what's good, to tell them what's bad, to tell them where they are, where they can go, and what they should do. Right? That's what it is. So I view him as a police officer. When I'm looking at him, I'm suspecting him to have that role. So he calls up to my son. I'm having an argument with my son. And my son I'm in the wrong here, because my son is ignoring something that I'm telling him to do. I'm being too aggressive with him. And so I start yelling at him. He, is yelling at me back. And we have this altercation, but not a physical altercation. But anyway, so this guy's walking over, and I thought he was walked over to my son. He had a daughter and a wife near him, a little small child. The man couldn't have been more than 35. If he was 35, I doubt he's 35. But he walked up to my son. He said, just so long as you know, this doesn't last forever. Soon you can leave him. And I was like, what did you say to my son? And he said, yeah, that, I see that you have a problem with your son. And he's going to be able to leave you and never have you in his life. Right? So I was like, okay, because I know what it's like, my dad. And I said, okay, I understand what the problem is. You got problems with your dad. You don't know my son. And I asked him, I said, what's his name? And he said, he said my son's first name. I said, no, what's his whole name? What's his name? He said, I don't know his name. Exactly. So thank you. Go away. You don't know him. You don't know his name. You don't know what his problems are. You don't know why we're talking like this. You don't know. Go away. And so he walked to the other side of the basketball court. Now, this is a very physically fit young man, right? You can tell that he works out, that he's physically conditioned. So he's doing something that's keeping him in shape. You know what I mean? Your muscles don't just stay, you don't stay in a muscular state just walking around for no fucking reason. Okay. So whenever I see somebody like that, I'm like, oh, probably law enforcement, because most likely they're going to stay in shape, because they're not just going to be walking around like in that type of role, just all grossly overshaped, and it wouldn't work. So I'm like, oh yeah. And his attitude, everything resonated police. Right. So if I would have hit him, he could have shot me dead. And we're in Texas, which is an open carry state. But so did I hit him? No, I didn't. And then I glared at him like I would hit you. And I glared at him for a while, right? Till he on the other side, man. And when he was with his daughter, I kept glaring at him. And he said, "You got a problem?" I said, "Yeah, I got a problem. I think you're going to come over here and talk to my son again, and I think, and I'm keeping an eye and making sure you don't do that. Told him that in front of his wife and his kid. Now, that's a life-threatening situation if you didn't know.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, that's especially dealing with Texas being open carry state.
That's anywhere, anywhere.
Yeah,
Do anywhere, anywhere. Not especially, anywhere, 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 any and everywhere.
Especially white folks thinking they control black people.
They do.
Yeah,
they do.
This is how stupid people. This is how stupid I am because I ain't got patience for that. I missed the what the fuck you looking at? What you talking about? Mind your business. Get out my face. And I'd see, I'd have escalated the situation if he got
you
too.
get caught and you catch one.
Exactly. And see that's how crazy I am.
And here's the thing, they know that.
Yeah.
Where I'm from, they know that. That's
why they want you to go there. So they were looking for opportunity to kill you.
That's playbook number one. That's why they're leaving bricks. But see, this is, I'm telling you, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. Because you'll see that's people handing bricks to you, driving down the street, seeing like, hey, brother, here's the brick. You want a brick?
Yep, that's exactly what it is. Yep.
Yeah, that happened. That happened out here. That happened. That happened out here. They're handing sticks to people to try to knock out windows. Out here, they're doing that.
Of course, because they think you motherfuckers. And you know why would they do that? Now, like, did you hear the one lady had the with the brick? She was talking to the guy in the brick. She's like, "You giving this? Why would you hand this?"
Yeah, I remember Black the sister. Yeah.
Say that. Now here, I know the answer to that, because he thinks you motherfuckers are dumb enough to take it, and that's your nature. No, not that. He thinks that's your nature. So all I have to do is hand it to you. You're going to take it because that's your nature.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you would do it. The way you trap people is do things that are in their nature. Right? Something that they want to do. This is a perfect way. That's how you get anybody to like anything. You know, if you're really good about it, you make it in, you wrap it in a situation with something that they like.
Yep.
So you make a judgment about what they like. And so they give you the brick and you take it, and they do the same shit. People like what? They like mud. They like shiny shit. You know, Shaka Zulu. You remember that? The intro to Shaka Zulu?
Yes.
How you trap a monkey?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Callie, you know it. How do you trap a monkey? How you trap a monkey?
Well, how you trap a monkey? Well, there's multiple ways to trap.
No.
Trap a monkey.
Let me say how to trap a monkey. This is something out of Shaka Zulu, so it's a specific quote. Specific quote.
No, I don't know that one.
Let me tell you how you catch a monkey. You take a bottle and you put a rock. You put a very shiny rock in the bottom of the jar, and when the monkey comes and sees the shiny object, he sticks his hand in and grabs the shiny object, and his hand gets stuck.
Yep.
His hand gets, and so then once his hand gets stuck, he's going to be stuck until you come over there and catch him. He's not going to get out of that, because the monkey doesn't understand that you have to let go of the shiny object, the object of your desire, which is trapping you. You have to let that go and take your hand out. They don't have that. That's not in their thought process.
Yep.
Monkeys. So Shaka Zulu said, now after he told the story, he asked that of a Dutch a ambassador for the Dutch, and he said, so tell me, what do you have shiny for me today? Shaka Zulu.
Mm-hmm.
$18 million watch.
That's dumb as fuck, man.
They sold that at $18 million rock.
And you're not going to be able to sell it for that same price.
It's a rock. You just valued a rock more than your house, more than most people's entire life earnings for a rock. For a fucking rock. And you don't think they're fucking sick?
He could have built a school with that, man. Or
Could have
several
built a school.
schools.
He could have. Please.
Not just no, dude. Look. Fuck what he could have bought with it. I want to focus on the fact that it's a rock.
It's just a shiny ass rock. That's all it is.
I don't even have to see shiny. It literally is a fucking. That's a descriptive word, right? Shiny, bright, beautiful. No, it's a fucking rock.
Metaphor.
It's a rock.
Yeah.
No, it literally is a rock.
Okay.
It's not even metaphorically a rock. It's in actuality a rock. This nigga, these people picked off a fucking rock out the ground and got $18 million out of it from you.
And you bought it, nigga.
What's wrong with you? And you don't think it's crazy?
That's
crazy.
fucking crazy. So he bought an $18 million rock and put it on Instagram.
I bet you, between the black population of the NBA, got $100 million worth of rocks.
Yeah. You ain't never lied.
It's a rock.
You ain't lying. Hell, you got a lot of these rappers and shit like that too, man. Look at all that.
Listen,
the jury on the gold chains and
I've seen shit firsthand that didn't make any fucking sense. Didn't make any fucking sense, man. And a rock out the ground that costs $2,000. I never listen. I have one gold chain. I've had it for over 25 years, and it's in my drawer right now. And I look at it like, yo, goddamn, why did I do this? And I keep meaning to go to a jewelry store and sell it back. I just been lazy about it. But I'm like, why the fuck did I do this?
Watch. Here's the killer, though. Here's the killer. This nigga. Now, I'm just saying him. It's all kind of people that do the shit. But the reason why they get it is because it is an investment for them. Not an investment on a return of the value of the rock, but on more money out of our pockets. For some of us, the idea of buying a rock. The music.
Mm-hmm. You ain't never lied.
They talk about the rocks. So we want the rocks. But I want a BLK rock. The shit.
It is sick that you could have talking about, man, look at I got diamonds on my neck and diamonds on my wrist. All that shit like that, and my diamonds in my mouth. Nigga talking shit. You know what I'm talking about?
Watch what it is, though. Now look, they use the same monkey trick. That's the same monkey trick. It's the same monkey trick. And then they play us like the monkey. Right? So because what are they doing? When you listen to, that's why I don't even have time for all the people, some of the people these be praising up, like Russell Simmons and all them dudes, man. Like, man, come the fuck on, man. Because I've been in entrepreneurial businesses my entire professional career. Right? Like my family's of own business. We are black entrepreneurs, have been black entrepreneurs for a long time. That's what we do. So I know what entrepreneurialism is about. I know what it is to grow a business, to start a business, to grow a business. I know what it is. And they are selling motherfuckers a bill of fucking goods. That's what the fuck Russell Simmons and those guys. And so I didn't have any doubt. Because my dad used to be like, come on, man. Why is Russell Simmons wearing those clothes? My dad used to get upset about it. He's like, come on, man. You know, why is he's only doing that to sucker you niggas, to think that, he acts like he's one of y'all. He ain't one of y'all. And used to be my dad's take on him. And then years later, when he came out with that credit card scam, he was like, here you go. That's what I told you that nigga was to begin with. That's what that nigga was to begin with. Like, see, because you can only get business out of the black community. Right. Like that's the big myth that motherfuckers get, dude. There ain't no black businessman that ain't connected to the black community. Like who? Like none. Name one. You know what I mean?
Even Jordan markets his shoes.
Yeah, the only dude that I think might come close, the dudes that might come close. Now there are guys that do shit like they get a bunch of dough, like like using their brains on Wall Street and helping helping them rob people on Wall Street. Now those dudes make a lot of money doing they're doing that type of job, but that's who they're doing it for.
Right.
Hollywood people that's who ultimately is paying them their money and the desire to cross over, which is why once they make it, they automatically abandon you because you were never their goal to begin with. They
Of
always
course.
wanted to get over there.
That's a fact. Unfortunately, though, I mean, we have these people like DJ Vlad who make a lot of money off of the black community. Everyone tries to make money off the black community because we're consumers. We consume a lot, so it's important to try to get your hands in the pot or in the pockets of black people because it's unfortunately it's not that hard to market things towards a lot of black folks. We've been marketed, at least I should say that we've been marketed that shiny objects are definitely the art of our desire. Like this is a symbolism for what success is. So if you got 40 gold chains, if you have multiple diamond watches, multiple diamond bracelets and shit like that, diamonds in your on your ears, diamonds on your ears, diamonds in your mouth. That's considered to be successful. You know, brand new expensive car, 6-figure car, 7-figure car, giant house. A lot of them. The funny thing is, most of these rappers are leasing those vehicles or just renting them. Really, most of them are renting those vehicles, and a lot of that jewelry, even the jewelry, is rented temporarily, and a lot of people don't know that. So a lot of people strive to try to have what you call the rock. So it's a sickness. But it's something like, because I'm gonna tell you, a lot of rappers, and I know rappers, a lot of these rappers, they have homes, but they're not rich. Most of these rappers aren't rich. They're not. They give you an illusion that they are because they buy a lot of clothes and they have this expensive jewelry. But most of these rappers aren't rich. Most of these rappers probably make somewhere like 65,000, something like that a year. I mean, it's okay, but nothing special. But they give you the illusion that they're just making millions of dollars. That's the whole goal now, is to try to give the illusion instead of just being responsible. I don't know what your thoughts about that for now, but that's literally.
I've been trying to wrap up the show for a little bit. I gave my final last little speech, and the conversation the conversation keeps kicking forward to more questions. But I think that shit. I mean, dude, look, the killer is that rocks are beautiful. That's why motherfuckers want them. Primarily, like I wouldn't feel any guilt for having a gold chain. That's just beautiful. That's beautiful. It's something natural. A diamond is beautiful, and a chain is beautiful. And when you see people walking around, this shit looks beautiful, right? There's no shame in wearing diamonds. There's no shame in having gold. There's no shame in having gold in your teeth, having gold in your ears, anywhere you want to ornament yourself. If you feel like that helps you express yourself to somebody else, right, and actualize yourself, man, have at it. Jewelry. I think jewelry is an adornment and is a compliment to yourself. I don't think it's something that's bad. What is the dynamic that is crazy is that they will sell you that beauty, and in order to have that beauty that you know is beautiful, that makes you happy, you have to give up half the value of 900 people's lives to get it. There should be no problem with people having diamonds. We should be fucking flossing in diamonds. They're fucking rocks. Why not? I like my shit. I got platinum. My shit is platinum and diamonds. That's my wedding ring. I love my diamond. I love my diamond and platinum ring because I think this shit's beautiful. But we live in a world where people can't just sell you shit that's beautiful, and you be able to get it from nature without giving up everything to get it. That's the slavery. It's the business part of it that's the problem. It's not the actual gold. That's the saying from John Henrik Clarke, and I'm in conclusion mode right now. When John Henrik Clarke said, you let people take in a physical sense, you let people take what you have, right, from you that they don't feel to care for. They don't pay, they don't care to pay for. They think they need and don't care to pay for. But then turn it around and then sell it back to you. And that's what the diamond thing represents. It's something that is great value, but the value is not in the dollar or the amount of property or things you can get in exchange for it. The beauty is the value is in the beauty of the diamond. It's the beauty of the gold. The people that started making things out of gold didn't do it to sell it. They did that shit because it was beautiful. Like shit, I'm gonna get this to my dude. Watch this. Let me make this shit. I'm gonna shine this fucking rock up, buff this bitch up. Look at this shit. Look how beautiful that shit is. And then you be like, okay, who has the most beautiful chains? Who has the most beautiful ornamentation? Who has the most beautiful plumage? Well, hey man, the woman, I'm gonna be attracted to the dude with the best plumage. Right? Yeah, because he's taking care of his shit. You know, he's obviously organized. He took a lot of care to make it, a lot of care to pick it out, right? And all that. Yeah, and I like his vibe. So I'll get with him. We'll have a family. We'll make other kids with great plumage. But no, we make those things that are beautiful and natural to people from Africa, because that's an African mineral. That's of the land. That's of the people. That's their beauty. That's their, if there's a sense of property associated with it, it's theirs. That's why it's gorgeous. I mean, that's why they want it. That's why the Europeans knew about it. Because people are like, look at the beautiful shit they got. Damn, what's that? Oh, that's gold. Oh, we don't have those. Where the fuck you get all that gold from? I need some gold. Oh, they got the gold over there. They don't have gold here. We got quartz and shit over here. You know, just normal shit. But if you're a king and queen, you can't have just normal shit. You need the export. You need the extra shit. Them niggas got some diamonds. You should see the rocks this motherfucker wore, dog. You should see that. Do you ever this Mansa Musa nigga came and dropping diamonds and gold and shit to everybody? Look how beautiful this shit is. He was showing his wealth and his love and appreciation to everybody, whatever he was doing with all that damn minerals. There were expressions of love. That's what it was. That's what the mineral. But then it became an expression of currency and ownership, because capital is just, it's some loose configuration of labor and property, right? It's people and property that you own a piece of. That's what capital means. Capitalism is that you can own people, you can own things, and make it a tradable commodity. But the beauty, that's of God, man. The beauty is of God. And that's the whole thing with the color too, because you can't, see, you can have the gold. You can get the gold, you can get the diamonds, you can get that, but you can't get the color. You can't get, they look beautiful in them diamonds and gold, but it's that black skin underneath them diamonds and gold that make that shit so beautiful because of the contrast. You can't wear white. I can't wear white like a dark black chick can wear white, because the contrast just looks like whoa, and the gold stands out like boo, and the diamonds blast. So they hate what it is that they cannot get, which is the color. It is an inferiority complex at basic, but that led to a domination, a physical domination of Black people. And then after the physical domination of the Black people was secured enough, the psychological domination was a natural byproduct. And so until we free ourselves physically to have some level of independence where we have the ability to address the mental, that's, I think, we'll be able to get past, make some steps forward. But much love to everybody in the chat. And see, Callie, that's how I try to end out the chat. I try to act like a brainiac at the end of the shit and, wrap it up that way at the end of the deal. So anyway, thank y'all very much for listening. Callie, we're going to check you out later. Drew, thank you guys so much for showing up. Y'all need to harass KQKC for faking me out. And with that, we out. Peace.
Peace.
Wait.